men. And I'm not talking about the scammers, the drug dealers, the robbers, and the crooks.
Well, actually...
Yeah, I'm watching the rise, and I wouldn't say I'm shocked, cause I'm hardly surprised. This one's for the ride, this one's for who knew I'd make it, just needed some time. This one's for my wife, could've left 1,000 times just so by my side. This one's for the grind, I knew it would happen, just had the strength in my mind. To the videos, they thought I was a black guy. That's hard to get over. I'm foreigner in the sport, but I'm fully devoted. I don't take it for granted that the door's been open. I knew I was different, I knew I was chosen. A breadwinner, but I'm soft-spoken. Authentic like a 5950 and there's no cap. Let's have a toast to that. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Have a toast for the They done baptized the bad guy. Still don't follow religion. The fabric's not average. The cotton's Egyptian. 500 for the shoes, come dirty, but the European. Less is more and less is the bank. Up the score, I pull up from trade. From the tray, I'm ballin' like Trey. Do what I can, I do what you can't. I wrote this 30,000 feet up. 10 toes, stay G'd up. I'm tryna get that type of wealth, like a house on the hills, can't see us. Say the money still me up. Stay humble, stay teed up. I don't tell you how to live, so don't hit me with no weak stuff. And if you know the deal, then you know the deal. If it's real, then you know.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? This your man Marcus A. Brown, and I'm here to tell y'all that I just got done with my first consultation with the brother Andre of Love Crossing Borders. I just wanted to give him his praises. I need y'all to do two things if you haven't already. If you haven't, subscribe to his YouTube channel, Love Crossing Borders. Also, if you are going to Colombia, if you're thinking of going anywhere, traveling internationally, please consider booking a consultation with the OG Andre of Love Crossing Borders. You will not be disappointed. I'm a fan of the channel, so I booked a 2-hour session just to show support, just to show love and say what's up. He provided a wealth of information, way more than I was even expected. He has an excellent presentation. So I just wanted to let y'all know you will not be disappointed. Book the consultation, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Dre, man, I appreciate you. I will be out in Colombia, and I look forward to linking up with you. And y'all, get in tune with him if you haven't already. Tell him MAB sent you. Peace.
Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real. Let's have a toast for the real ones. Let's have a toast for the real.
Where are all the black men? And I'm not talking about the scammers, the drug dealers, the robbers, and the crooks.
Well, actually...
Well, actually, shout out to you guys that are here on a beautiful, I hope it's Saturday evening with your boy Andre of Andre and Andre's Love Crossing Borders. Man, these days are going by so fast, man. I kid you not. One of the things that you realize when you live in another country, man, you know what? I need to go ahead and stop playing and take care of that. Okay, now it wants to work correctly. Let me pull this down. Maybe it's not trying to zoom in on that anymore. It'll try to zoom in on me. Shout out to all you guys that are here. Excuse me for the struggle streaming right out the gate. We got 19 people in the building. Shout out to all you guys that are here. We got a great topic tonight. Do men pay for play? Do all men eventually, somehow, in some way, pay? Do we pay for sex? The song says, compliment what she does. Send her roses just because. If violins she loves, let them play. The song also says, in your arms tonight, she'll reflect how she owes you the sweetest of debts. Allow her to pay. Find 100 ways. The reason why I brought that song up is because all men do pay. All men. Whether you're complimenting with her roses, or if you're in Thailand and you're paying for play, or in Colombia. Either way, all men pay. Most of us pay in two ways, whether you're in a relationship or not. Most men pay in two ways. You're either going to pay with proceeds, money, cash, gifts, anything that costs you monetarily, gifts. You're going to pay either that way or you're going to pay by way of attention. That's why it's called women love men that pay attention. I know some of you guys might think, I never pay for play. Yes, you have, because you paid attention. Tonight, we're going to look at what one lady says and what she learned when it came to learning about men. Some good things and some bad things. But when it comes to learning about men who pay for play. So we're going to get off into that topic tonight. Shout out to you guys. And we're going to get this lens straightened out while before the night ends. I'm going to have to put it back on manual, put it back on manual and take off automatic. But right now, while I have it on manual, cologne of the night is Terra de Hermes. Cologne of the night. That's what I'm wearing tonight. Terra de Hermes. I hope you guys can't see that name because they put it in red. I don't know why they put it in red. It is a very masculine cologne. I can't say that. And it is a lemony scent. It's a lemon scent. It's almost like a pledge. You know how your mom used to put the pledge on a wood table, and it has that type of scent about it. Even though it doesn't come across like that, you could kind of like, yeah, I could smell pledge from this. I can see somebody spraying some of this and clean off a table or two. But that's the cologne of the night that I'm wearing. Really nice lime scent. It's a top seller for years. But like I said, tonight's topic is about, do men pay for play and why? So we're going to be talking about that. But before we go off into that, I've got something very important I want to share with you guys. And when I get done with it, this live stream is going to be taken down tonight anyway, just because of this part that I'm going to talk about. We're going to talk about in a few minutes, can foreigners open up a bank account in Colombia? Yes, can you come to Colombia with your passport and open up a bank account? And the answer to that is yes. There are certain banks in Colombia that cater to expats. We're going to talk about that after we do the shout outs. Shout out to you guys that are here right now. Appreciate you gentlemen being here. My man Don, aka the Don JP, is in the building. Shout out to my man Dave Dice of the Dice family. Appreciate you being here. See, let's go. Dre and Andrea, what's good? Chat lives matter here. My man Ronan Travelers is in the building. Shout out to you, brother. Glad to see you here. Say Gen X Libras. Yes, sir. That's us. Them Gen X Libras in the house. Got to hold it down for the rest. Yes, we do. My man Bobby Coltrane of the Coltrane family in the year of our Lord 2025. Shout out to you, brother. And Tevin King, who's always representing. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you always being here, as well as my man GJ Dating is in the building. Blessings to you, brothers, all. And my man Garfield Lawson, last name, no, Lawson. Shout out to you being here as well. He said, I'm on time for once. Finally made it on time. Yes, sir. Just like my man for Profit Stores in the building. Shout out to you gentlemen being here, man. Right on cue. I know what's missing. Some music. Let me get us some music going, gentlemen. I was wondering what is off for tonight. Some music. So let me get us some music going. And I'll be fixing that lens in a second, gentlemen. I'll be fixed. Actually, let me do that now. Let me fix that lens. Now, let me turn some music on and let me fix that lens right now. There we go. Give me a second. All right, I'm rocking the all black tonight. That's much better, much better. So we don't have to worry about the lens going out, in and out. I took it off of manual. I took it off of automatic and I put it on manual for this evening because we don't want to be doing that dance back and forth. All right, shout out. Now that we got the shout out music going on, shout out to you guys. Shout out to my man Ransom in the building representing. Shout out to you, as well as my brother, the Meek are loved. And Montrez is in the building, as well as my main man, Dollar Bills, dollar bills, y'all is in the building. Once again, tonight's topic is about, do men pay for play? Yes, all men, married and unmarried, do pay for play. The only difference is, like I said, one may pay in proceeds, one may pay by way of attention. Stop paying attention to my wife. I don't have to worry because another man will. Let you stop paying attention to the person that's important to you. You ain't got to worry. Another man will pay attention. We know women look at attention as if it is currency. Let me stop complimenting my wife. Let me stop encouraging my wife. And we all know that at the end of the day, somebody else will do that, right? Whether it be a coworker, the work husband, or somebody else. So in that sense, we do pay. Now, our reason why might be different. You're paying if you're in Thailand, or you're in parts of Africa, or if you're in Brazil, you might be paid for play for pleasure or luxury. You're on vacation. That's a luxury. It's not something that you have to have. It's not a part of your everyday life's expectations. You might be in Brazil for a year or a month. You're having luxury. When it comes to us, we pay in our, not for play, but pay in our marriages or relationships because it's a necessity. We know that sex is a part of communication. Communication is not just verbal. Sex is a part of communication. Just like me and Andre say in our household, the things that I do for the family is a part of me communicating love without saying I love you. What Andre does for the family is the way of saying love without saying I love you, even though we say I love you every single day. And I mean every single day. So one guy might be paying attention. That's why it's called paying attention, because attention is that important to women. Don't you ever take for granted that a woman does not look at attention like currency. That's why they get the big butts. That's why they put the makeup on. That's why they're getting surgeries all over their face. That's why they're getting all these hair extensions and all this stuff done, because they're battling and competing, whether they want to admit it or not, for your attention. A woman knows she can't get your money if she can't get your attention. She can't get your time if she can't get your attention. She can't have your kids if she can't get your attention. You won't buy her a house. You won't take her on a trip. None of this will ever occur if she can't get your attention. And since they know that, they value attention far more than men do. We like attention. Attention is cool, but we kind of like trying to, we try to chill. I don't need that many people noticing us. We don't like it like that. Women are the opposite. They breathe attention. So many of us pay back. Okay. How many of y'all got coochie from a woman because you paid attention, but you never paid any money? You ain't took on no date, did you? You ain't bought her a glass of wine, did you? How many of y'all come on, all you UK brothers, all you Canadian brothers, talk to me. How many, I put one in the comment, I done got plenty of coochie from paying attention. I did not have to come out my wallet for nothing. All I paid was the currency of attention. Don't act like I'm the only one that paid attention to a hot chick at work and you end up smashing her in the parking lot. Thank you, HR. Thank you very much, Don. Yes, all men pay, but we pay with different currencies. So some guys pay by way of cash or gifts. Most men pay by way of attention, compliments, words of encouragement, a listening ear. You know why pastors always get the coochie? You know why pastors and preachers always get the coochie? Because they got that listening ear. What? Really? When? How? Where? Next thing you know, he eating your wife coochie right next to the Bible. Pastor got your wife legs spread all over that church desk. Eating coochie and smoking a cigarette. He paid attention. So yes, before we go any further, for all you guys that want to deny the fact that, oh, I ain't never paid a woman. Actually, we have. We just use a different currency. Shout out to my man G. He said call mongering is an attitude whether you're paying with cash or with livestock. Call it yeah. Garfield says, he said, my favorite one is when the woman be like, oh my gosh, I can't sit here and talk to you forever and tell you everything. Yes, sir. And that's how you know you got her attention. And once you get that attention, you could basically talk her into some of anything. He said, if your game's strong, facts, HR. He said the woman will use their own money on you. Facts, and more facts. Facts, and more facts. Bruh, kid you not. True story. Y'all know I always got a story. I'm on a date in Tampa. I think I told you about this female was beautiful, Afro curly, curly Afro, like the Afro Colombians. She was half black, and I forget what else she was. Right? We go to Orlando, right? Because anybody knows Tampa is like 45 minutes from Orlando. So we decided to go to Orlando, to Universal Studios. We're going to hang out. We're going to go to the movies, and then we're going to hang out after that. I'm so excited. But I know I'm going to beat this coochie up this weekend. This going to get got. And plus, this is one of Vince Carter's ex-girlfriends. I'm talking about slam dunk Vince Carter. Back in the day, Vince Carter. I'm about to get some of the Vince Carter's exes, some ex-NBA coochie. Okay, I'm with that, right? So I'm hyped, right? I'm so hyped. Man, I forgot my wallet back at the apartment. We standing in line, get ready. We're at Universal Studios, get ready to pay for the movie theater. I'm all like this. And anybody that's been to Universal Studios, your car is parked way back in the parking lot. It's just like going to Disney. Your car parked way back there. Bruh. I'm talking about you got a hottest of the hot chicks next to you looking delicious. She done already told me you gonna beat this coochie up tonight. I'm gonna beat it up for the first time. I'm beating it up right after this movie. And I forgot my wallet. But just like the brothers say, if your game is right, your game is tight, all she did, she said, forget about it, Dre. You can get me next time. You already know what you owe me tonight anyway. It was like the tables were turned. She went on ahead, cracked that credit card out, plow, paid for the movie. We're in Orlando. I had already booked the room, so that was taken care of. Went to the room, took care. Oh, Jeffrey know her. My Uncle Jeffrey know who I'm talking about. We already took care of business in Orlando. I ain't never see her again, right? I'm like, dang. Cause she was only in town for a business trip. So I think she's from B-More somewhere, right? And so I say, dang, I ain't get a chance to hit that again. Bruh, how come like a year later, I get a knock on true story. I get a knock on my door. Open up the door, it's Vince Carter's ex-girl there again. Like, what? What you doing? She said, I'm only here for the weekend, and I'm coming to get mine again. So I introduced her to Jeffrey, just my uncle Ghostface. I introduced her to Ghostface because we had a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. So Jeffrey's on that side of the apartment. I'm on this side of the apartment. And so I introduced her to, man, bruh. This is the one that Jeffrey said, man, that chick was screaming so loud, Dre. I thought you were literally in there. He said, I thought I was going to come in your room. It's going to be blood all over the walls as loud as she was screaming. And just like she disappeared the first time, poof, she disappeared the second time. What's my point of the story? Just like the brother said, if you're on top of your game, you can even have an embarrassing moment. But if you've been paying a woman by way of attention, a lot of times you ain't got to pay by way of cash. I'll say that again. One of the reasons why these broke dudes get away with smashing the chicks, Pookies and Ray Rays in the hood, and they sleeping on their mama couch, a lot of it is because these dudes be paying these chicks attention. To where we ain't got time for them, Pookie and Ray Ray ain't got no job. You see what? Pookie ain't got no job. Ray Ray ain't got no job. So all they got is sex and attention to give these women. We ain't got no time to be all up under no chick like that. We got responsibilities. We trying to take care of business. So us responsible dudes don't pay as much attention. That's why we get mad, because Pookie and Ray Ray can do it by paying attention, and all we got to pay cash. we got to pay cash. Yeah, I remember Jeffrey even came in the room after. He was like, dog, I thought I was going to see blood on the wall, man. She was screaming at the top of her lungs. I say, dog, it sounds so good, didn't it? I say, dog. I say, man, goodness gracious. I say, and that was like it was like a regular Saturday night. Me and Jeffrey just kind of like chilling. Ain't nothing going on. I wasn't expecting nothing. All of a sudden, who at the door? I don't know. I opened up the door. It was Finey with the big curly afro. Like, dang, girl, what you doing here? You know why I'm here. I come to get mine. Oh, do you? Come on in. Shoot. And plus, she had been drinking too, so I already knew she was on one. I already knew. But that's what my point is. And that's what the other brother's point is. Whether you pay by attention or you pay by cash, it's going to be either way. Let me get these shout outs out. And like I said, tonight's topic is a two-parter. First, we're going to be talking about, secondly, we're going to be talking about the pay for play and the young lady who's going to be telling her story of the things that she learned about men being in the pay for play industry. And it was not all bad stories. She's telling some good stories about men when it comes to why men pay for play. And that's what the topic is about. This is not about if you do or if you don't, but it's about the why portion of it. Because if you're a part of pay for play world, that's you. If you're not and you're just paying attention, that's you too. I'm a pay attention type dude. I pay by way of attention. I pay by way of attention. Shout out to all you guys. Yeah, I know I ain't the only one that got a woman straight by way of attention. Man, man, listen, bruh, there are women that some of you guys have slept with. You swore you wouldn't go get that coochie. You thought there was gonna be another coworker got that coochie. Kevin and them go get that coochie. You notice her, but you would never. Next thing you know, within 3 months, you got her ankles hemmed up in the air. All because you paid attention. She know how much you make. She a coworker. A lot of you guys, your woman cheat on you at work just because she around us for 12 hours. We the ones that's paying attention to her. I'm sorry, dog. I'm here to tell you the truth. A lot of female coworkers you get to smash just because you with her on that 12-hour shift, that 10-hour shift, that 8-hour shift. She doing overtime. You so happen to be doing overtime. You know the bosses ain't in on the weekend. So it's a slow overtime. She making extra money, but she around dudes like me. 6'3", charismatic with looks. Ooh. For real. Garfield says, he said, my favorite ones is the woman that be like, oh my gosh, I can't sit here, talk to you, and I can sit here and talk to you forever about anything. Yes, sir. Next to the Bible, bruh. Pastors be dirty, bruh. There's some good pastors, but there's some dirty pastors out there too. Fortunately, there's some good ones out there too. He said we call it pay for play because it sounds better. That is true. Salute to shout out to my man Jay Anderson, the great in the building. Jay Anderson says, salute to a Grown Man Podcast or a Grown Man Chat. And Andrea love crossing borders. Salute to my California brothers, LBC. Shout out to you, Long Beach brothers. Shout out to you, brothers. And California boys, let me get that Cali out there. Yes, sir. Shout out to you, California brothers. He said, next to the Bible, reading 1 Peter 5:7. Facts. That's how they be, man. I kid you not. Pastor, don't be paying your wife. When last time you saw a pastor say, I'm going to pay for you, Mrs. Smith? Nope. Pastor, pay attention. Pastor has that listening ear. Next thing you know, panties dropping just because he listening. I'll say that again. Dude. Put a 1 in the comment section if you ever got some just because you listen to a chick. I just want to see if I ain't the only crazy one. Put a 1 in the comment section if you have ever, just because you listened. I'm not talking about friends that don't listen. I'm talking about just sat back and just listen to what she had, how her day was, some of the things that she going through. She don't want you to fix nothing. She just want to hear you listen, or she just want to see you listen to her. There are a lot of women that are just interested in dudes that's gonna listen. Just hit them out. They don't want you to come fix nothing. They don't want you to come be no hero. They don't even want a relationship. They just want somebody to talk to. Come and talk to me. Can I talk to you? Yeah, I know I ain't the only one. Thank you, gentlemen. I ain't the only one. You ain't had to open up no wallet. Only thing you had to reach in your wallet for was a condom. Now, remember, the second thing that we're going to talk about, which is actually the first thing we're going to be talking about tonight in a few minutes, is can you open up a bank account in Colombia? Can you open up a bank account in Colombia? We're going to talk about that tonight in a few moments. I'm not only going to show you what steps to take as a person that you don't have a visa here, you don't have an ID here, you just got a passport. How do you open up a bank account as a foreigner in Colombia? Can you do that in 2025? We're going to talk about that in a few moments. And I'm going to give you the actual banks that cater to expats that allow you to open up a bank account. And I'll show you which one is my favorite if I was just moving or planning on moving to Colombia in the future. What bank accounts would I work with, or banks would I work with? So we're going to talk about that in a split second, gentlemen. He said, I don't pay for play. It definitely takes a certain level of discipline to do that, though. Yep. For those that are into it. Shout out to my man Andrew in the building. And shout out to my man Deborah for being here as well. But shout out to my man Andrew also. He said, gotta love City Walk. Right. That's what and we were going to City Walk right after we left the movies. But man, I left my wallet, man. I was like, so we end up going to City Walk anyway, had a good time. And for those of you that don't know what City Walk is connected to Universal Studios in Orlando. For example, we all know about Universal Studios and the roller coasters, Spider-Man, Hulk, and all those roller coasters, right? That's for the daytime, for families and for kids and stuff like that. But at night, Universal Studios opens up for clubs. So you could go and pay, and it's like 10, 15, 20 nightclubs. A Jamaican club over here, a reggae club over there, a salsa club. So all the nightclub and all the night restaurants and bars stay open. So Universal Studios is like, let's not do like Disney and shut down. Why don't we just open up for adults? So you'll see where you and your kids are leaving Universal Studios like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. All of a sudden you see all these dressed to the T adults coming into Universal Studio, and you wonder like, what the hell they go? That's because they're going to the City Walk. City Walk is inside of Universal Studio, and it's the party adult side where you can just have a great time till like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And then if you want to drive back to Tampa, which I don't recommend it, if you've been drinking, that 45 minutes to an hour drive, you don't want to do that. Just get you a little cheap hotel in Orlando, because even decent hotels in Orlando are cheap because they want you to be in Orlando. And so get you a nice hotel in Orlando, or go down to downtown Orlando, have a good time. Either way, That's what City Walk is. City Walk is in Orlando, and that's connected to Universal Studios, where you can have a really, really good time, guys. The Meekest Love said, he said, but Andre, he said, you look what, 6'3", 6'4", 6'3". He said, do you know that being that height, you have the advantage of getting women just off? Yeah, yes, I do. Did I take advantage of it? Yes, I did. I know once they look up with them deer eyes, they look like, I already know I got him. Scott him, Dre. He said, I don't blame you, Ghostface. I don't blame you. Talk to my man Zero in the building. Shout out to you being here. Appreciate you, brother. Andrew of the Craig family, second of his name. Shout out to you, brother. He said it would be ironic if that second night with her during the Halloween was Halloween Horror Night. Oh man, that would have been good. That would have been good. And it would have been ironic too, right? I left my wallet on the same weekend of Halloween Horror Night. Yeah. I see some Florida boys off in here, man. I see some Florida boys off here because y'all saying some stuff that only Florida dudes know. Shout out to the Florida boys out there. Andrew said, he said, that's how you know when she drunk on everything. When she drunk on air. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Yep. I'm like, what you doing here? And I said it like, what you doing? Like, what you doing in my house? Looking so fine and delicious. And brother, she was fine. She was Colombian fine in the States. She was bad. I can see how Vince Carter was smashing this one for a few years. I ain't mad at him. And she was freaky. Shout out to Vince Carter. In Atlanta, he said I was in a club security one night for one reason, because girls always approach the security. This is true. He said, no, most of the women that approach you think that you ain't got no money. Foolish women. Foolish. He said, JG said, he said, most of the girls that I get were 8s and 10s because I didn't pay them no attention. And that's another way of getting women. That's so true. That's so true. When you don't come with too much attention, man, they just love it. How dare he not pay me attention? He said, that's the secret sauce, bro. When they say that 23% of all women in the United States cheat on their husbands, I know exactly where they cheating. I know exactly where they're cheating. Believe you me, bro. Company picnics, cheating. Company, the quarterly meetings, cheating. The Christmas party, cheating her tail off. The Christmas. You think your girl going to the Christmas? Bruh, it's 5 hotels surrounded the convention center where your girl is going to the Christmas party. You think ain't nobody took advantage of them hotels by your girl's Christmas party? You wonder why they don't allow you to invite husbands no more to the Christmas party. Because husbands messed up the Christmas party. I'll say that again. Husbands and boyfriends messed up the Christmas party. For those that wanted to bring their wives, husbands, wives, boyfriend, all y'all, girlfriend messed up the Christmas party. Because y'all would come to the Christmas party and find out who your wife's smashing. And so now you tearing up the Christmas party. So they decided, man, many companies decided, oh, hell no. Can't no spouses no more come to Christmas parties. Because of y'all. Y'all done found out y'all wife. Y'all saw the work husband over there glancing at your wife and your wife glancing at him. Y'all start tearing up the Christmas party. They done told y'all can't no more coming to the Christmas parties. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No more bringing wives and the husbands to the Christmas party. Y'all done tore the Christmas parties up, man. And so now y'all can't get into the. Shout out to my man Kenny. I think this is one of your videos you sent me also, Kenny, that we're going to be watching tonight. Now, because Y'all, your husbands and wives and girlfriends can't come to the Christmas parties no more. Oh man, we all in the hotels down the street, bro. Man, please. Quarterly meetings, the quarterly meetings. Oh yeah, quarterly. Oh yeah, somebody getting beat up. Man, that's when I first started smashing my boss quarterly meeting. Man, everybody had already told me I was gonna get the coochie. Drake, man, she like you. I was like, man, that's our boss. Could you guys stop it? You know, I'm trying to be professional. She was training me. You know, I'm professional. It's my boss. Man, we got to that quarterly meeting. She texted me something. I was like, girl, you better not be texting me nothing like that. You know, I'm a grown man. You get your feelings hurt, married woman. Oh, you don't know how to hurt no feelings. What? Did I get that response from my boss? Oh, okay. Here, this is what we gonna do. you picked the wrong one. You picked the saber-tooth tiger, woman. Okay. Man, please. I was smashing my boss for about a year. About a year. Yep. And she had a cool husband too. That's the crazy part. The brother was cool. That just kind of hit me like, man, the brother was cool who her husband was. Ah, Dre, I was dirty. I was dirty for that one. He said God has a way of reminding us of all the times that we are not in control. Amen. Did I get a? Yes, I did. I did get a promotion. I did. I won't lie. And that wasn't the reason why I was beating it up. You know, she was chocolatey. Oh, she was chocolate and pretty. You know how you got them chocolate chicks that be pretty? No matter if they was light skin or dark skin, they still be pretty. She was one of them. Just pretty, like the shiny. They skin always shiny. They don't need no lotion. They just shiny for no reason. One of them chocolate chicks. Oh, man. Oh, wow. Why she had to be so fine? He said the brother was cool, but the way of the coochie is strong and hurt. For real, man. For real. Andrew says this. Shout out to Ronan. He said it is in Orlando near the convention center. Absolutely correct. Shout out to the Orlando Convention Center. I used to go there for Comic-Con in Orlando. There are too many hotels and restaurants, yes, sir, all around that area. Good luck finding the right hotel. That's true too. Because a lot of hotels are made for tourists, and then it kind of like, then you got the cheaper hotels, but then you got to look for, since I know Orlando, I kind of like know where to go for decent hotels. Yeah. Instead of having to go all the way back to Champion Gate. I had to drive all the way back down I-4. All right, let's get started, guys, with this particular topic. We have 47 people in the building. Shout out to you guys being here. And what we're going to be talking about, first of all, right out the gate is, can you open up a bank account in Colombia? Some of you guys have asked me that question, and I had already planned on talking about this. So let's get started. Let me share the screen share. Let me change the music up a little bit. Change that music. And then I'm going to bring the information up for you guys. And like I said, for the guys that aren't here tonight, too bad, because this portion of the video is going to be going into the Patreon. So shout out to you guys that are part of the Patreon. It'll be over there for you for as long as you need it. You'll be able to take advantage of it. So if you just join Patreon for $5, you'll be able to be able to get this information, as well as a bunch of other information that we have over there. So let's get started in a second with changing the music real quick. Let's slow it down. Let's do this one here. Oh, that's too fast. Let's slow it down. Let me turn that down a little bit. That's kind of cool, smooth music, but doesn't go with the topic for tonight. Okay, we'll work with that. We'll work with that. Okay. So let's get started, gentlemen. Can you open up a bank account in Colombia? Let's take a look and how to do it. So right here on the screen, we have, let me put me down in the corner. There we go. Right here. And I'm going to drop the link. You know me, Share Bear. You know me, I'm the Share Bear. Thank you guys for donating tonight by way of Cash App, PayPal, and Super Chats. So let me share this real quick. How to open up a Colombian bank account in 2025. You know, I'm just kind of paraphrasing what they just said. So we're going to scroll down. The best banks. There are 3 top banks in Colombia, which is Banco Colombia, which is Da Vivienda, Inda, and Banco Bogota. Those are the 3. But there are others that I would recommend before those 3. And so in the article, it talks about what is the best thing about these. Let me blow this up just a little bit more. There we go. And in the article, it talks about, that is foreign-friendly services. So it offers a wide range of services to both local and foreigners. So each one of the banks, so that's right there. What would you need to open up a bank in Colombia, a bank account? You're going to need your passport or your Colombian ID. Many of you just using your passport. You're going to need a visa. And if you don't have a visa, you can use your permanent residency. But in you guys' cases, you don't have a visa or permanent residency. Many of the banks, you don't got to worry about that. Proof of your address. Some banks may require a local Colombian address. Maybe a lot of guys use their Airbnb location as their address. A lot of guys use their Airbnb location as their address. And you don't really have to have utilities or anything like that in most of the banks. Proof of income. This is true. You will have to have either your bank statements, at least 3 months bank statements from the States, or you have to have a letter from your job, the hiring letter that you had. You may need that, but you're going to have to need proof of that you have some form of employment. This is true. For those that are opening up businesses, you'll need the NIT, which is the Colombian version of a tax ID number for your business. If you're going to open up a business, to open up a personal account, all you need is $50. And to open up a corporate account is $8,000 here in Colombia. Let's get past this. He said you will likely need to visit a bank in person. This is true. So for you guys that think that you need to just do it online, I highly recommend that you don't do it online because you might have questions. So make sure that you guys do it in person. If you don't have anybody to assist you in Cali, Colombia, once again, if you don't have anybody to assist you in Cali, Colombia, Andrea does it. She only charged like $50 to help you guys either go get your medical insurance, and she also helps you for $50 just to help you go to your bank and open up your bank account. So that's what Andrea does. So she does a lot of liaison work for guys behind the scenes. Let's go back to the information. And if you have any questions, you could drop it in the comment. A referral letter. Some banks require a referral letter from your home country's bank, or where you have an existing bank account in Colombia. But most of them don't. Most of them are just looking for you to have some type of proof of your being employed and or proof of your bank account that you have in another country. While there's not strict requirements, having a basic understanding of Spanish can be helpful. That's why I said if you don't know anybody that knows Spanish and you don't have a girlfriend here in Colombia, let me stop this for a second. This is one of the reasons why I say in Colombia you need to have at least one female or male in your phone that's a positive connection. You cannot have in your phone that you smashed. I'm gonna say this again. You cannot. It's stupid to be in another country. In Thailand, Kenya, I don't care. It's stupid to be in a foreign country. You got a phone full of women and all of them only good for pay for play. So forgive me of the Wi-Fi freezing like that, guys. Forgive me for the struggle stream, but you don't want to make that mistake. Have at least one woman in your phone for situations like this. Let's say you get sick, you need to go to a hospital. You need that one person in your phone. Let's say you want to negotiate for an apartment. You need that one person that could do translations in your phone. Let's say you want to open up a bank account. You need somebody. I'm not talking about some silly Colombian chick that she don't even got a bank account. I'm not talking about no chick from the hood. I'm not talking about no broke, beautiful chick. I'm not talking about them chicks in your phone. Let's act like we grown men now for a second. I'm talking about a serious person that if you need a health insurance, medical insurance in Colombia, that person has been through that process before. Not every woman in Colombia knows how to take you to the top-notch health insurance agencies. Why? Many of them have the Colombians' version of Medicaid, Medicare. So the little broke chick that you got in your phone, she might not know anything about going to Sura and getting you Sura health insurance. Why? And Sura is Colombia's version of like Blue Cross Blue Shield, right? But if she doesn't know anything about what they're talking about, you just brought you a liability with you, not an asset. Get you a real Colombiana in your phone that's about her business, because if she's about her business, she can help you be about your business. I'm serious, guys. Do not have all dingy chicks, dingy, pretty, goofy, silly party chicks in your phone. It's going to come back to bite you if you're trying to open up something serious, or if an emergency happens, that silly chick can't help you. Y'all don't think about that when it comes to emergencies. Y'all only think about the pleasure part. I'm going to Cartagena, I'm going to smash all these chicks. Cool, but you need at least one chick in Cartagena that's about her business, because she will be about your business. Why am I talking so loud? I don't know. So definitely make sure that you guys get at least one person in your phone, whether it be male or female, that can help you out. Now, like I said, Andrea is the liaison for a lot of you guys. So she's working on the brother's information right now with his marriage visa. But shout out to him just getting married in Colombia. But so if you don't have anybody, just reach out to us. Andrea got your back. She's helped out a lot of dudes. So let's go back to the information. But you got to have at least one person in your phone, gentlemen. At least one. At least one. Here we go. So these are the steps that I sent you in the link. These are the steps. You choose your bank. We're going to talk about what banks to choose. We already talked about what information you need to gather. And you can do this on your Colombian trip in any parts of Colombia. Now, here's another thing I want you guys to remember before we go any further. When it comes to banks in Colombia, it's just like in the United States. You might get a branch in a branch of a bank in Florida. That branch might not have anything to do with Michigan. So you may have to open up a Michigan account. Same thing here in Colombia. Just because you're in the state of Antioquia, which is the state that Medellin is in, you might be in a completely different state if you are in what's the state of Cartagena? Cartagena is Atlántico. The state of Atlántico, it may be completely different in the state that Cartagena is in. So be sure that when you open up your bank in that particular region, that's the region that you're going to be in the most. So if you're going to be in Medellin the most, open up a bank account there. If you're going to be in Cali the most, or Bogota, open up a bank account in a place that you know for the most part you be there the most. You don't have to be there all the time, but at least you know that when it comes to your money and you're sending money from the States into your bank account here, you're going to be here the most to take advantage of that. Let's go to the next part. Let me move me out of the way. There we go. There we go. Just move me completely out the way. Right here, number 3 is visit the bank in person. That is very important, like we just talked about. And if you need somebody to work along with you, because they will review the paperwork and guide you through the process. That's true. That's exactly what they did with me. Step 4, select what type of a bank account that you want to have and the currency. So if you want the currency to be in pesos, if you want the currency to be in dollars, most of us open up our bank account to be in Colombian pesos when we withdraw money. We don't want to withdraw US dollars while we're in Colombia. We want to withdraw Colombian pesos while we're in Colombia. Review the documents and sign them. That's why you want to have that person there that can translate stuff for you. Make sure you do everything correctly and make sure everything's in order. And it's not long. It's not a long process at all, gentlemen. It's not a lot. I think we were in there maybe 45 minutes, an hour at the most. You know, once we start talking to a teller and setting up the account, it was not difficult at all. Yeah, I think about an hour. Review your account details. Go over that in regards to, you want your debit card or your credit card. You can have either one of those. I mean, debit or in regards to debit or credit card, but of course a bank card, bank debit card. Set up your online presence. Now that you have an actual bank account, now you can set up your online presence. That's what I have. Most of the information that you're going to get from your bank is online. Colombia doesn't send out mail for the most part. I'll say this again. Colombia doesn't have a junk mail. They don't have that. Let me do it like this. Most of us don't realize most countries in the world don't have a mailbox. Boom. Most countries in the world don't have mailboxes. Most of the time, you're going to get your communication by way of your bank's app and emails. I get emails from my bank, not regular mail. I get, even when I got my debit card, I had to go pick it up. They didn't even send it over here. I had to go pick up my debit card. Sometimes they'll send it to your address. A lot of times they'll have you just go pick your debit card up. So you can use your Airbnb address without having to worry if they're going to mail your debit card to your Airbnb. The other thing is, let's go back, because this is very important for some of you guys. Make a deposit. Of course, the deposit is $50 initially, but you want to send money from the States down to your bank account to feed your bank account here in Colombia as well. And then also gave 4 tips on opening a bank account in Colombia from Golden Harbor. So right here, there's more information right here. But let's talk about what banks are the best ones to open up a bank account for foreigners, because not all of them are created equal. Here's another thing I want to share with you guys. Not all branches are created equal. You can go to a branch of Banco Colombia and they will tell you, no, we don't open up bank accounts for foreigners. You can literally go to the branch 2 miles away of Banco Colombia and they say, sure, have a seat. I don't know why it's set up like that here in Colombia, but don't get discouraged if a branch of the same, or don't be surprised if a branch says no, but then another branch says, yes, have a seat, of the same bank. So don't let that throw you off. And he also said, depends on who you bank with, who you can choose the options to go, and you can go paperless. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Depends on who you bank with. You can choose the options to go paperless. I'm going to go to the questions in a second, Garfield. I'll get you your question. Let's go back to the banks that I was talking about. And remember, tonight's topic is about do all men pay for play in one way or another? The first one that we're looking at is, and this is going to be on the in the Patreon. I'm going to have this whole list in the Patreon. Banks in Colombia that may allow foreigners to open up bank account. The first one is Banco Colombia. It's the largest one in Colombia. It is friendly for foreigners. This is the requirements that they ask for. And of course, with the tax ID numbers for a person that wants to open up a bank account for business. So if you're not open for business, you don't have to worry about that part. And of course, if you don't have a Colombian visa, you don't have to worry about that part. Then you have Da Vivienda or Da Vivienda, because the E makes an A sound, Da Vivienda, and actually this B is actually Da Vivienda. And so they work with foreigners, a valid passport and or Colombian visa. You may or may not need it. Proof of your address. This is your cellular ID. If you don't have one, you don't have to worry about that. Like I said, it's per branch. Now, if it were me, and now that I know, if I was coming to Colombia and I was opening up a bank account, I have no Colombian visa. I don't know anybody here except for one or two people. And I am trying to open up a bank account in Colombia because I plan on moving down here in a few years. Or when I come on vacation, I just want to know I got money already down here waiting for me. I ain't got to wait for Western Union. I ain't got to worry about having money in my pocket. I ain't got to worry about having an extra card. I don't have to worry about being bank charged. I ain't got to worry about hitting the ATM for this, that, and this. I already got a Colombian bank account. Me personally, BBVA. BBVA always works well. And just about all their branches works well with foreigners. A valid passport or Colombian ID, proof of address, and your initial deposit. The other one that I would work with is the Scotia Bank. I will work on that. I will work with that one too. These are the top two banks that I personally. Now the other ones like Bank of Bogota, they work with foreigners as well. But my top two that I found that had the least resistance and work easy for you with most branches, and they're all over Colombia, are BBVA and Scotia Bank. Those two are the easiest ones for foreigners in my estimates. Now, some guys can correct me in regards to they were able to open up a bank account with other banks, which can be, like I say, per branch. But I found that BBVA, because these are international banks, these are not just based in Colombia, these are actual international banks. And so these banks are accustomed to work with foreigners anyway. And so they work easier. The other thing that I would say, if you're going to open up a bank account and you're here in Cali, I would say first place that I would personally go to is Chipichape Mall. Why Chipichape Mall? Because they have a banking area where there's nothing but, as soon as you walk in, really, that's the banking area. And there are like, 8, 9 banks right there. So instead of going from this side of the city and that side of the city and this side of the city and that side of the city, just go to Chipichape Mall and go, of course, go early because Colombians always at the bank. Go to Chipichape Mall and there's like 10 banks in that one area. So if you have issues with one bank, the other bank is right next door to it. The other bank is right next door to it. Another bank is right around the corner from it. So if it were me and I'm in Cali, I would go to I don't know how it is in Medellin or Cartagena, but I would personally go to Chipichape Mall first because all the banks, the major banks that work alongside with you, including BBVA and Scotia, are right there in the mall. And then if I have to go somewhere else, then or to another branch, then I would do that. But my first move would be Chipichape Mall because every place is right there. Let me get to you guys questions. Let me go back here for a split second, make sure I hit everything for you guys, all the information. Right here. Yep. I got all the banks. Oh, and this is just general information in regards to what we already talked about. And if you guys ever see the term cellular is just your Colombian ID. Colombia has cellular is your ID and your social security card in one. To whereas in the States, we have a social security card and our IDs or a driver's license separate. Colombia, you have your social security card and ID as one. And then your driver's license is separate. And really, when the police pull you over, if ever police pull you over, they're asking for your cellular ID and your driver's license. To whereas in the States, they only ask for your driver's license if ever you're pulled over. Your initial deposit, that's what you need. Reference letter in regards to your bank or your employment. Proof of employment. They do ask for that when it comes to a bank. Why do they ask for proof of employment in Colombia, even though you may not even work in Colombia? I'll tell you why. Yes, it was absolutely correct. Used to be part of PNC. Absolutely correct. Now, but that doesn't mean, guys, that you can open up a PNC bank account and think that you have a bank account in Colombia. But I'm going to come to the questions in a second, guys. One of the reasons why I just made the statement in regards to, oh man, let me remember my thought. You guys kind of threw me off for a second. Let me go back to my notes. We went to the cellular. We talked about the banks, initial deposit, the reference letter. Oh, the reason why Colombia asks you for a reference letter of your employment, whether you be self-employed, you got your own business, whether you be retired, they want to see proof that you're retired, ex-military, whatever it is, you got your pension, or if you're currently working, or if you're working online for yourself, they want proof of that. The reason why, if ever you cross over the threshold of a certain amount and you have to pay taxes in Colombia, and I'll tell you what I mean by that in a second. Colombia taxes your bank account. They tax everybody by way of their bank account. As I've mentioned in the past, when Colombians get a job, and I'm not talking about a job under the table, you work for a restaurant, you get paid under the table. I'm talking about a real contract job. The first thing you have to have also is a bank account, because not only for direct deposit, but Colombians don't get taxed on their paychecks like we do. They get just about all the money except for maybe the pension getting taken out and the medical being taken out. But for the most part, Colombians get their whole paycheck. Unlike us, we get taxed per check. But right around starting September tax season, they tax, excuse me, they tax the money that went into their bank account for the last year. From September to September, all that went into their bank account gets taxed. That's why your Colombian girlfriend always says, send the money to me, Western Union, and not directly to her bank account. Why? Because that money, those gifts that went into her bank account, could push her over a certain threshold and she'll have to pay taxes on that. So that's why a lot of Colombianos like, send me by Western Union. Don't send it to my bank account. I'm going to send you $1,000 because I know y'all. I'm going to send you $1,000. And that $1,000 ends up pushing her over the tax threshold, and now she owes taxes. In your case, well, Andre, will I get taxed in Colombia? If I'm there for a certain amount of days, you're eligible to get taxed. You're not getting taxed. I've been here. Think about it, guys. I've been here almost 8 years. I've been taxed once. I've been here 8 years. I've been taxed once. Well, how was that, Andre? Because I never went over the threshold for a foreigner or a person that has a bank account in Colombia. Let me just put it where the goats can get it. I never passed $11,000 going into my bank account. I purposely did that. If you go over $11,000 going into your bank account, it triggers Colombia's version of the IRS. And now they're like, you're going to have to file taxes. Now, having a tax accountant as my wife, like I said before, I end up not having to pay anything for taxes. So I didn't owe anything. Shout out to the wifey for being a tax accountant. I told you I was strategic with this thing. y'all thought I just married Andrea just to marry. Okay. So, but if you as a foreigner keep your monies every year under 11,000, they don't even think about you as far as taxes. You never get a tax form and never tax request, nothing, no matter. So it is like, I know a lot of people sit back and say, well, if you're in a country, or if you're in Colombia, 100 and something days, you end up having to file taxes. I don't know if I want to be in no, you don't. No. If you are in Colombia for those amount of days, yes, but they're not telling you the rest of it. If you go over a certain threshold, United States is the same way. If you have a business or in the United States, or if you're working in the United States, what's the threshold in the United States? $12,000. Are there not people in the United States that have a job that didn't hit that $12,000 a year threshold that don't have to file taxes? I hope you guys knew that. Even in business, you don't technically have to file taxes in the United States. Or let's put it like this, you don't owe taxes and may not have to file taxes if your business is still on the level of a hobby, if it's still considered a hobby as far as the proceeds and the profits that you make. And normally that threshold in the United States is $12,000. Here in Colombia, for foreigners, it's $11,000. So I knew as long as I didn't hit $11,000, Colombia's IRS didn't care about me being here. Last year, I went over that threshold. So I had to file taxes. My tax day was October. So everybody has a different tax day or tax week in Colombia. So it starts in September, then they get a group of these people, then a group of these people, and a group of these people. So mine was like the first week of October. I was that group. And Andre filed my taxes, bada bing, bada boom. I was good. So do realize that that's why it's so important for Colombians who are employed to have a bank account, because they're taxed. That's why they ask you about your employment, because if you ever go over that $11,000 threshold, that triggers Colombia's IRS and you'll have to file taxes that particular year. So don't forget that, guys. Don't get nervous because you're in Colombia and you think like, oh my God, if I'm there, I'm gonna have to file taxes in the States and file taxes in Colombia. No. The United States is the only one that's asking you, no matter what you make, you have to file taxes. Remember, even if 98% of expats don't owe taxes, but all of us must file taxes. Now, I'll tell you, most people don't. I'm going to tell you that right out the gate. I'm telling y'all expat truth that nobody talks about. Bruh, there are a ton of expats that do not file taxes. They don't. And they go in and out of the United States like it's ain't nothing, because they're expats. And the IRS knows if they come after expats for what? 98% don't owe anyway. So they don't mess with expats. I kid you not. It would amaze you how many expats do not file their taxes like they're supposed to. They be like, man, I ain't filed. Man, I told you I'm part of the expat group in Reddit. Man, it be dudes in like 10 years, 16 years, 27 years. Be like, you ain't filed taxes in 27 years. Because they know if you haven't hit the $126,500 threshold, you don't owe taxes. So if they're at 98,000 as an expat, what, the IRS gonna chase them for 98,000 that they got a tax break that's tax-free anyway? Let's say they make 75,000 as an expat. The IRS gonna chase them for 75,000 that's tax-free anyway? There is no money that they can get back from expats as long as we don't hit that $126,500 threshold. You guys don't have that. That's why they chase y'all down, because you don't have a window of free tax money. We have a window of $126,500, 100% free tax money. Next year, we already looked it up yesterday, it's 130,000. So next year we got 130,000 tax free. 98% of expats don't owe taxes because most of us don't make 198,000. Most Americans don't make, 130,000. Most Americans don't make 130,000, right? So just imagine if in the United States, they change the tax law, bam. And from now on, the first $130,000 was tax-free in the United States. Man, you know how many of y'all be so happy? Most Americans in the United States wasn't paying taxes because as long as they don't hit 130,000, well, that's what us expats get every year. Every single year. And it goes up. Every year goes up. Like I said, when I came here, it was at 102,000. Actually, when I started coming here, just visiting Colombia, it was at 98,000 threshold. It was just 98,000 as a threshold. And now next year is going to be $130,000, not including, I showed y'all, I get a tax break for my rent. I get a tax break for the utilities. I get a tax break for any maintenance. I get a tax break also for anything I got to do on our truck. All that is tax free. So expats get so many tax breaks. That's why our tax, 98% of us don't owe zero. 98% of expats pay zero taxes. And like I said, some people say, well, what about state taxes? You got to find out what your personal state taxes are as far as being an expat. But if you're in Florida and Texas and Maryland and Delaware and a few other states, it's tax-free for states. So if you're a Florida boy like me, the last state that you lived in was Florida. Last known address by the IRS is Florida. I wasn't paying no state taxes anyway. Most people don't know that, man. I didn't know all this before I left the United States. I just thought I was moving because of cost of living and enjoying life. I didn't know all these tax benefits existed. I'd have been left the United States. Man, I'd have been left just on the taxes. Just on the taxes, I'd have left, man. Shh. As much as I was paying. Man. Come on, all you men that ain't got no kids, you know how much we pay in taxes. You ain't married. You ain't got no kids. Oh, they coming for you. Tax breaks from food. Yep. We get so many tax breaks if you going to school. Yes, sir. Yeah, we looked at all that yesterday. So if you guys want to see that, you can just kind of like look at yesterday's video and that portion. And we just did a small portion of the tax benefits that we get as U.S. citizens. The tax benefits we get as U.S. citizens. He said, Black Chairman, shout out to Black Chairman in the building. He said, yeah, I'm in Tampa, Florida. He said, and when I get a chance to relocate, I'm going to use the tax structures, and tax benefits. He said, I'm not married or kids. And for married, we looked this up yesterday. For married couple, the tax break that they get, $260,000. Let that sink in. As long as the couple does not cross the threshold of $260,000 as expats, all their money is tax-free. That's why so many Americans that are expats are hoping that President Trump keeps his promise to expats and put an end to us having to file taxes every year. We're not paying any. Why are we filing? Think about it. We're not filing. Then why? I mean, we're not paying. Then why do they still have us filing other than being in our business? That's the only reason, to keep tabs on us. Well, that's what the passport is for. Let me scroll back up and get to you guys' statement. I'm come back down to you in a second, Fort Lauderdale. Let me see what you guys have to say. Then we're going to get to the other topic for tonight. But I'm going to drop the link one more time of the information that we shared. But those banks that I was talking about, that's going to be in the Patreon. It's going to drop the link to guys that want to join the Patreon. It's only $5 to get started. Drop that Patreon link for you, gentlemen. And I'm going to have this portion of the video in the Patreon tomorrow morning. And we're only $30 away from our goal in the Patreon. So if you guys can help us out with that, just $30 away from our goal. And we're going to have more and more information that we're going to continue to share inside the Patreon. So when we talked about taxes, that portion is yesterday, that's going into the Patreon, and all the information, because I never just drop a video. I also put all the information, the websites to go to and all that other stuff I put in there. Any video that we have in the Patreon also has a lot of information in it. Right here. Let's go right here. Shout out to Chulupe in the building. He said this. He said, this is when I'm having a lady friend. This is when having a lady friend is not a bottom feeder, comes in handy. True. Guys, I promise you, man, you guys will thank me for that one. Make sure that you have, I don't care if this is a friend zone chick that you want to smash, that she put you in a friend zone, but she is so professional that if you have any situation she can help you out with, she needs to be in your cell phone. She needs to be in your cell phone. Like, for example, my boy, my Afro-Colombian partner, right? He is one of the head directors in the immigration office. So when you guys have something going on, and I'm like, man, I don't know. Let me hit my boy up. So I hit him up in immigration, and he'll take time out to look something up, and then he'll hit me back with the answer for you guys. Everybody in my phone ain't got to be somebody I got to party with all the time. Sometimes you got to have a hookup. And sometimes the ladies in your phone, you got to have at least 1 or 2 ladies in your phone, gentlemen, that's about business, because they'll be about business for you. My man Esco says this. He said, who put this shit together? He said, that's who. He said, me, that's who. Me, that's who. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to my man. Oh, in the building. My brother. See, I got to scroll down to get the Vic. Shout out to Victory in the building. Showing love. Gifted 5 people with the memberships. Shout out to Victory, man. I appreciate you, brother. And I'm glad to see you here, man. Glad to see you here. I gotta call you, man. We ain't talked about the boys lately or nothing. Let me scroll down back to the questions that you guys may have. But yeah, mine would be BBVA. They're everywhere, just like all the other banks. Shout out to Esco as well. And Kenny says this. He said, that's what I've been doing for the last year. And he said half or 50% going to monk mode. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He said not giving a fuck and paying no broads attention. Absolutely correct. Let me scroll down a little further. I think Garfield had the first. No, I think Alexis had the first. Shout out to Alexis in the building. Dude. He said, how long does he usually take to establish good credit in Colombia? For me, it was about, I kid you not, it was about a year, and they will let you know. For me, it was about a year. All of a sudden, you're going to get an email from your phone app or from your bank. Hey, you want to open up a credit card? You're like, yeah. And then the next year, I got another credit card. I'm like, okay, cool. So now I'm working on the credit card with points. You know, flight points. So Andre just got hers, and so I'm working on to get mine with it. So now we get the flight points every time we spend. So and it only took, like I said, it was like a year, and I wasn't even expecting a credit card. That was the last thing on my mind was I was thinking about building up credit. I didn't even realize I was doing that. And then the other thing Andrea told me, now I've put myself in eligibility to buy a home with greater credit, being a resident, because I'm a Colombian resident now. I'm on a resident level, so I don't just have a visa, but I have a residency, and I'll be a citizen next year. I thought it would be this year, but it'd be next year. So I'm in a position to be able to make some moves that the average brother that's coming here buying property can. And the other thing is, when it comes to your credit, it does open up doors for you. But I'm able to do certain things because I didn't know this. Because I filed taxes for the first time in Colombia, now I'm on the actual true Colombian radar. So now, as far as not just my bank know who I am, all the banks know who I am now. So let's continue on. Alexis, Colombia's 2 O's, no U. He said, and another question, is there such thing as credit outside of the U.S.? Well, I just described that about my credit outside the U.S. He says BBVA used to be part of PNC. Yes, is actually Colombia's version of PNC banks. But even though they're not a part of PNC, remember this, guys. This is very important. I'm glad you brought this up, Chulupe. PNC. He was absolutely correct. PNC used to own a part of BVA used to be a part of PNC. So a lot of guys thought if I open up a PNC account in the States, that means I have one in Colombia. No, it doesn't, because that PNC is one part, the stateside part, but there's an international BVVA part that wasn't purchased by PNC. So on this side of the United States is the international BVVA. And that's why they want you to come into the branch. Ace Live, Ace opened up his bank account in Cartagena, no Barranquilla, during the pandemic. Ace just walked in there, opened up his bank account, and called me right when he walked out the bank, because he walked out the bank after he opened up his bank account, and then maybe like a couple of weeks later, he was in the position. He called me again, and he said, man, he was so excited, and he was telling me about how he was about to pay off his mom's house. He's going back to Florida, and he's going to pay off his mom's house in Miami. And so, yeah, but Ace actually did a video on that, opening up a bank account in Colombia. Gerardo is in the building. He said this, what can you use to prove your Airbnb address? Your Airbnb or your hotel address is just as good as proof. And or some banks are even willing to accept your U.S. bank account. So once again, it depends on the branch and it depends on the bank. But for the most part, Ace and everybody else that I know use their Airbnb, even for your medical insurance, for that sewer insurance I was talking about, which is Colombia's version of Blue Cross Blue Shield. You can use your Airbnb, your hotel, or your apartment. So don't feel like you have to have an actual residence. You can use your Airbnb. Yep. He said, I stay with my girls at my girl's house sometimes. With that, yeah, use her address. Yep. Because nothing will come in. Remember this. Nothing will come in them. I've never, not one time in 8 years, not Andrea does it. We never get a letter from our bank, ever. Everything is by, like the one brother said, if you want it to be paperless, you can request paperless, and for the most part, they're gonna do it automatically. But for the most part, I don't know anybody. See, remember, Colombia doesn't have mailboxes. So even if you don't request paperless, they're not gonna mail you stuff from the bank. The most that we get is a bill for utilities. This is the first time from when we moved here, was the first time that we got mail like on a regular basis, and we get mail for just the utilities. That's it. And that's when they take the mail down to security desk, and security desk bring it up here. That's it. They got like little mailbox slots, in our apartment complex by the security gates. But other than that, we don't get any mail, and most Colombians don't get any mail. FedEx packages and stuff like that you get, but yeah, your girl address should be fine. He said, is BVVA and or Scotia Bank good if you move to different cities within Colombia? That's the question you're going to have to ask, because it's a per branch, per state basis. And that's why I said, if it were me, I would open up a bank account only in the place where I knew that I would be staying for the most part. So if I'm going to be in Bogota for the most part, I would be opening up a bank account in Bogota. Or I would go into that branch and I would ask them, can I use the bank branches in other parts of Colombia? In other words, other states of Colombia. Just because you're in Antioquia and Medellin, it may not fly here in Bayo. That's the state that Cali is in the state of Bayo, or Beya, my bad, Beya, here with Cali. So you want to make sure that that bank or that branch works with more than one branch within Colombia. If it doesn't, that just lets you know that yes, you can use your bank card everywhere. You can use the AT&T, the ATM everywhere, no problem. But as far as going to that branch and them pulling up your account, you may not be able to do that if you're in a different state. So you want to talk to that bank about that. And like I said, it could be a per branch basis, or it could be a per state basis. So when you walk into that bank, you want to find out if I'm in Barranquilla, can I walk into the BBVA in Barranquilla if I have an emergency? You want to ask them those type of questions. That's a good question. Shout out to my man Vic once again. Shout out to E Breezy being in the building, as well as Montrez. Oh yeah, or MoneyGram. Yep, or MoneyGram. He said, how much USD did you have to pay in Colombia after zero? Zero. I told you, Andrea is a tax accountant. She does corporate taxes and private taxes. So she's done more corporate tax than private taxes, but she does mainly corporate tax. But she does private tax, right? And so she did my taxes. So zero. And I should be, man. Ain't no way in the world I don't have a wife that does corporate taxes and not have zero. So come on, guys. To keep from going over 11,000, is it good to have a second bank account? It's going to be in your name anyway. It's going to be in your name, and the second bank account will be in your name, and think about it, in your passport number. So no matter where you go, they'll know you got a second bank account. Like our IRS knows, no matter how many bank accounts we open, our IRS knows by way of what? Our social security number. Remember, your passport has a number on there as well. Your passport number is going to go into that bank's records. So the IRS of Colombia will know no matter how many bank accounts you have. And I'm going to tell you something for real. For the most part, you won't need that many bank accounts, and you won't need to go over $11,000 a year in Colombia. Remember, let me give y'all a tip. This is how we do our monies. 99% of our monies from all our business ventures go directly into our bank account in the States, right? When we need money here, we send it through Wise, the Wise app. We send it through let me see the other one that I would use. Why am I having a brain cramp right now? Regent. We send it through Regent app. And we've been using these apps for years. So, and they send them in like, the money gets there in less than 30 seconds. So if we've got something that we're going to pay on with, let's say we're paying rent. You know, our rent here is $600 a month, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, right? Let's say I'm paying rent. I just have that money just sent to my bank account here in Colombia, and I use my bank account in Colombia to go online and pay my rent. Let's say I'm paying the car. Let's say the car insurance. Let's say that car insurance is in Andrea's name. I think it's in my name, but let's say it's in Andrea's name. We just send the money from the States to Andrea's bank account. So 98% of our proceeds stay in my stateside bank account. But when we need it, I don't care if I'm just having dinner with Vic. Let's say Victory's down here. We're having dinner. And I'm looking like, okay, let's say I forgot my bank card or something. And I need to, whatever it is, I'm just coming over to a scenario. And I'm just sitting with you guys. I can sit back and go to my Remitly. That's what it is. R-E. Let me just pull up the Remitly app for you guys and just get it over to you guys as far as in the comments. Let me get it over to you guys right here. A lot of guys use Remitly for years, and they are good. Let me make sure I got it on the screen for you guys. This is the app that I've been using for years. And a lot of you guys use this when you want to do money transfers. They transfer the money from bank to bank. I'm talking about in seconds. The only time they do not transfer the money fast is like if you're sending money to yourself or to anybody like 4 o'clock in the morning. So it may take to like 5:30 that morning to get to you. That's the only time I've ever had where it was like slow. That's the only time. Brothers, I'm telling you, if you want a quality app, and some of you guys can attest to this, like Wise is good too. We're going to put Wise up here as well. But if you want a quality app for money transfers to send money to yourself, man, I am a fan of both of these apps, man. a true fan, because these apps really do look out for you. And they both have online. So if you want to just not use it as an app, if you want to send it online, you could do it too. This is Wise. So you could download to Wise. You have the Wise app on your computer. I mean, the Wise app on your phone, because I have Wise on my phone and I have Remitly on my phone. So I'm going to drop the Wise real quick, and then I'm going to drop that Remitly. Man, I swear, wasn't nobody doing none of this for me, man, when I came to Colombia. Man, dudes was too busy trying to tell me about the parties and where the brothels and all that stuff is. Nobody was telling me the important stuff of, if I want to live in Colombia, what other information would I need? Man, y'all be getting the hookup, man. I swear. So, man, I won't even lie. It be times, man, when I be doing stuff, man, I be jealous of y'all, man. I ain't gonna even lie, because nobody was sharing this information, bruh. Nobody was sharing nothing. Nobody. So you got the Wise and you got the Remitly. And I'm telling you, man, whenever you want to transfer money from your bank account to somebody else's bank account or to your bank account in any country, dude, Remitly, like that. Wise, like that. And I mean like that, like that. And I don't mean like a lag. It was slow. They are fast, man. It'll process maybe like 20 seconds. And then all of a sudden, bam. Andrew said, I used Remitly before my first trip to Colombia. He said it worked. He said, using the Rappi app next time. Yes, you can. Now, what he's saying with the Rappi app, he's not saying just sending money from one country to another country, but with the Rappi app, he could go and have them send. He said, I test to the Rappi to the Remitly. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, it took me years to find out about Remitly, like 2-3 years. But once I found out, I've been Remitly and Wise all the way. But with the Rappi app, let's pull that up. Man, y'all getting the hookup tonight, for real. Y'all getting the hook up. Man, where were you guys when I needed help? Shoot, for real. And I'm not kidding. Where were you guys when I needed help? Let me go. I just put Rappi in. Let me put Rappi app. And Rappi is I didn't know this, man. Rappi on the Colombian Stock Exchange, $1 billion. Rappi is a $1 billion, dude. And I can see why. I can easily see why. When you live here in Colombia and you use the Rappi app as much as you do. Yeah, let me move this out the way for a second. Okay, let's move over here we're going to look at the Rappi app. Okay, you must do yourself a service and download this. I don't care if you're going to need it in 5 years in Colombia, 15 years in Colombia, 5 months in Colombia. You must have the Rappi app in your phone. The reason why: Rappi delivers food. Rappi, you can pay for your insurance, bank account transfers through Rappi, as well as, and yes, through Rappi. And yes, you can use Zoom as well. You can use Zoom, because I use Zoom as well. That's absolutely correct. But the reason why with Rappi, you can also have cash delivered to the house or to wherever you are. I'm going to say this again. With the Rappi app, you can, dudes, while I'm sitting here with you guys right now, I could order up to $100, which is 400,000 pesos. I can sit here with you guys, and then there's a phone call from security downstairs saying, Andre, the motorcycle is here with your cash. If I'm at a restaurant, I could just put, instead of putting a house address, I just put the restaurant address. That motorcycle will pull up right in front of that restaurant, no matter where I am in Colombia, and deliver that cash right to me at that restaurant. That's the value of the Rappi app. So you can order food, and yes, they deliver groceries and all those things. And that's why it's a $1 billion app. But I love it because I can have money delivered. And this is the cool part that I do. remember the threshold is 400,000 pesos. If I need more, man, it's like 4 or 5 motorcycles parked out front. I'm getting money from him. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm getting money from him. Thank you too. I'm getting 400,000 pesos from each one of them if I need that much, because the max you can get from one person is $100 or $100, or multiply that by 400,000 Colombian pesos. So I'm getting 400,000 from this dude, this dude, this dude, this dude, this dude. Because what happens is when they come with the money, Rappi gives you a 3-digit code. You have to show that 3-digit code to the writer because he has the 3-digit code. If you don't show him the code, you don't get the money because you're not the person. So once he punches in that code and it says, yeah, that's him. And so he counts out the money for you, or she counts out the money for you. And you said, thank you. The tip is already in the price. So you don't have to give them a tip or anything. The tip is already in the price. And like I said, I'll have 4 or 5, I kid you not, I have 4 or 5 motorcycles pulled up at the same time, getting that money, player. And I'm giving everybody their code. Okay, no, okay. Is this your code? Oh, that ain't your code? Is this your code? Okay, there we go. I get your code. And I get the next dude his code. Shoot, man, listen. I don't be going to those ATMs that often. Why? I can get it delivered? Get money delivered? You can't do that in the States. You can't do that in the States. I wish you would get some cat, try to deliver cash on the south side of Chicago. You can't do that one. Shout out to Black Nubian in the building, the Canadian boys.
I told this guy where I was from. He said, oh, Canada.
With the $2 love. Appreciate you, brother. Shout out to David. He said, this is why Andre is my travel agent and Andrea is my accountant. He said, they guide you through correctly. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother, with the $5 love. Yes, sir. Let me make sure I get everybody that had a question or a statement. Let me make sure. Yeah, tax breaks on food. He said Virginia taxes everyone so much. Taxes everyone so much that they tax you breathing. You know what? I didn't know. I found out this about Virginia. I did not know. And this is a bit of trivia for you gentlemen. Did you know that Virginia is the blackest state in the Union? I did not know that. No other state, even more than Mississippi. Virginia is the blackest state in the Union. Nobody talks about it like it is. Nobody talks about it like I would have thought Mississippi, Georgia, maybe Alabama, Virginia. Like, wow. Shout out to Virginia. Now back to official Kobe. He says this. He said, I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Shout out to Fort Lauderdale boys. He said, I'll be gone in a couple of months. Been at my remote job for almost 2 months. And so perfect example. Let's say you're a person that got a remote job or you're working online, things like that. They want you to show, if you either own your own business, they want you to show proof of that. Or if you work for somebody else, they want you to show proof of that. And so, and of course, you may have to get that translated and get a copy translated, but it's no big deal. Also, let's say you don't have that. They also have a form at the bank that you would fill out. And of course, it's in Spanish, but there's a form at the bank that you would have to fill out with all the details. And you come back the next day to the bank with that form, and you have your passport and all that other stuff, and you'll be able to open up your bank account. But yeah, you have to have proof of your employment, because once again, Colombians and foreigners are taxed by way of their bank accounts. Say in the U.S., I paid about $20,000 federal on my $135K in taxable. And boy, I know that hurts. So I know it hurts for you to sit back and say, what? You telling me if I had left the country, I would have only got taxed on the 5,000. You wouldn't even got taxed on that, because let's say the 130,000 tax free, the extra 5,000. We got so many other tax breaks for all that extra expats have about 15 different tax breaks that you guys never get and you never knew existed. Just think about it. If you weren't watching Love Crossing Borders for the most part, most of us wouldn't know about these tax breaks. If you weren't watching Nomad Capitalists and YouTubers like that share this type of information, we wouldn't even know about these tax breaks. Living in the States, they don't tell us. They do not tell you about this stuff, man. Yep. Shout once again to my man Vic. That's my dude. The 313 boys in the building.
You better back the fuck up out my face, goddammit. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Don't play with me.
Yes, sir. Quan says this. He said, Dre, thanks for the bank information needed. Yes, sir. I try to share as much needed information as possible. He said that part's true. He said all banks in the U.S. and international banks, after different entities, even though they have the same name. This is true. Are different entities. Yes, sir. That is so true. So true. E Breezy's in the building. He said, when I come to Colombia, BBVA is the only ATM that allows my PNC card to work. Yeah. And this is the funny part with Colombia. Your ATM card or your bank card might work per ATM. So you might be on one side of the mall. You're like, man, I don't know what's going on, man. My bank card ain't working. You can go to the same bank ATM on the other side of the mall and it ain't no issues. I know I ain't the only one that went through that in Colombia, off and on with the ATMs. Shout out to my man Don Fights in the building. Shout out to you. He said, it's not in my name. He said, do not have access as an employee of the bank account. Sure. Wait a minute. Are you asking a question? Let me see. It's not in my name, meaning the company is not in your name, but I do have access as an employee of the bank account. Oh, okay. It's not in your name. Or are you asking, you putting in the question form? Hey, don't do me a favor. Don't reword that for me so we can understand that, if you don't mind, brother. Yeah, take advantage of that, Wise. Let me drop that rappy one more time. Let me drop that rappy one more time for you, gentlemen. That's a must app. I'm saying that again. If you come into South America, because a rappy is all over South America. That's why it's $1 billion. You want to have that rappy app, bro. Like I said, you can order food. You don't know where the restaurants are yet, or you just tired. Just order some food off Rappi. You don't know where the grocery stores are, or the grocery stores off Rappi. The pharmacies, pet food, dude, flights. You get flights, trips, all type of stuff, all type of discounts on some of everything is on the Rappi app. It's like the all-in-one compensing app in South America, bro. He said, use Remitly. Yep, we looked at that. He said, do you need Rappi Pro to deliver money? Yes, you do. I'm glad that you said that. You do have to. Rappi, for the most part, is free. The actual app and using the app for the grocery store and all that stuff is free. The Rappi Pro is like $7. It's not $7 a month. It's just $7 one time, and you get to use the ATM. I'm glad that you mentioned that. Thanks, Davis. So remember that, guys. It's going to be when you first download Rappi, it's going to say, hey, you want to sign up for Rappi Pro? Yes, it's only like $7-8. It might, because of inflation, it may have gone up to maybe 10 at the most, but it's a one-time payment. It's not every month. But I promise you, you're going to get that money back time and time again from all the times that you use the ATM. Time and time again. And it's right there. You'll see the little, once you get to the ATM part, it'll be right there. You won't miss it. Because it's a little hand that's holding money. It's the only part where you'll see a little hand that's holding a bunch of green money, and you click on that, and that's the ATM, and then it'll pull up whatever amount that you want to have delivered. My brother said, he said, wait, I didn't know that they bring cash, drop jewels on us tonight. Yeah, oh yeah, they bring cash. You didn't know that? Oh, bro, yeah, they deliver cash on Rappi, bro. They deliver cash. Let me see if I can show you an example. I know I'm not using the the lens to zoom in. So let me see if I could show you guys an example. Let me close this one out. Let's see. So let me go to my Rappi app, the one with the mustache over here. And like I said, I know it's not going to be clear because I'm not using the zoom lens right now. I have it on manual. All right. So right in the middle, you see where it says, and they changed the logo a little bit. You see them, you can't see it, it's a little blurry, but it says ATM right in the middle, right here, it says ATM. They changed the logo from the little hands to an ATM machine. So you click on there, and now the amounts pop up. What is the amount that you want to send to yourself? So you have 20,000 pesos all the way to 400,000 pesos, which, you know, 400,000 in US dollars is $100. So you click on that, which I just did. And then you click on the green confirm button at the bottom. So I clicked on the 400,000, which is $100. Click on the green confirm. And now it's processing. You're going to see sometimes at the top it says error. Don't let that throw you off. That happens almost every time for me. So you just click on that again. And it'll take you to your information. So you see at the bottom, I know that's kind of blurry, but at the bottom it says $432,000. That means that it's $108. So that includes the tip for the guy to go to the ATM, pull out 400,000, bring it to me. They're going to give me a code. See, I didn't final approve this. This green part down here means final approve for my order. And so that 408,000, remember the original was 400, that 32 is equivalent to divide by 4, $8. So that's $108, in other words. That $8 takes for the tip and everything else, the interest at the ATM for them and all that. And once he pulls up downstairs, I just go downstairs and I show him the 3-digit code. If I were to put this order in, I showed him the 3-digit code, and he'd hand me the cash. A lot of times when you guys come to the city, you be like, "Hey Dre, what you doing tonight?" "I ain't doing nothing." "Hey, let's go out." I'll be like, "Okay, cool." I'll just hit up, and I ain't got enough cash on me. I'll hit up Rappi real quick. Bah, 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 bah. Boom. And here come Rappi while I'm in the shower getting ready to go hang out with you dudes. Bam. Here come Rappi at the door. And so I go downstairs, get my cash, and we go hanging out. I do that all the time. All the time. Yep. I think it is. I heard that Rappi is it's the same Rappi in Brazil. Yep. Rappi Pro is worth it. He said it cancels out the delivery fees. Yep, that's true. Even with food and groceries, it does cancel out the delivery fees. And so all I pay really is just like the 2,000 peso tax. I mean, I'm sorry, tip. I pay like 2,000 pesos tip because it'll ask you, do you want to pay the person a tip of 2,000, 4,000 pesos, 5,000, 10,000 pesos? You know, the tip part. So it'll ask you if you want to add more to the tip that they already got. He said, man, them niggas was for real. If it was in the States, if you had Rappi in the States trying to deliver cash to some of you thugs, Amazon can't even deliver in the States. Amazon, man, you know how much money I've lost on Amazon packages being stolen from package pirates? Man, Amazon can't be delivered in the States. Could you see them trying to deliver cash to y'all thugs? Y'all always want to talk about somebody else's country. Man, we can't even get cash delivered. And I remember when I first started telling dudes about Rappi Cash, dudes was like, well, what makes them not want to steal the money? Because it can be tracked back to them. Well, they can have somebody come behind you to rob them. Once again, it can be tracked back to them. Nobody's running around trying to rob everybody that's riding behind Rappis. First of all, they don't know if that Rappi that they're riding behind is an empty Rappi rider that's off work, that just so happen to have the Rappy bag on his backpack, they don't know if that person is a Rappy driver delivering pizzas or cash. They don't know. And remember, most areas around Cali, if you're in a decent area around Colombia, they got security, bruh. So when I hear dudes talk like that, like, man, you could get robbed of that money. How? And also, for all you dudes that like hood chicks and you live in the hood, Rappy don't deliver in your area in Cartagena. Rappy don't deliver to the hood in Medellin. Rappy don't deliver in favelas all up. Rappy don't deliver them. Get the hell out. No. That's another reason why you want to live in South America in decent areas. Because certain areas, like y'all want to be y'all little hood chick, you want to be in the hood with her, and I be up in the barrios and favelas. Okay, cool. Guess what? Rappy don't deliver to them thugs up there. Seriously. Shout out to my brother E Breezy again. Blacker than D. Yeah. I did not know that about VA. I did not know. I was like, what is the state that has the most black people? And I was like, okay, gotta be Alabama or Mississippi. VA. VA? Oh, yeah. Didn't know that fact about VA, but I see it. I have family in VA. Yeah. Yep. See, he said, Black Newbie say, always have more than one card. Yeah. Let me see if I have anything else. Tupelo, Mississippi was the blackest city after I went there. Shout out to Tupelo, where Richard Pryor's from. Tupelo, Mississippi. Shout out to my man Passport Persona. He say Rappy is clutch. Yes, it is. He say they'll even deliver medicine. Yes, they do deliver medicine, and that requires prescription in the States. He is not lying. That's so true. Shout out to my Greg G in the building. He say Amazon drivers running people over in Be More. Wow, it's getting crazy and Be More like that. My man, Big Brother in Life, he says this. He say dudes got all these questions about money delivery and not got robbed, but don't have and not get robbed, but don't have it when it comes to women. That's true. They think that delivery of cash is a setup, but don't think that the way these women are moving could be a setup. That's so true. He said most of the black people in VA is spread out in Hampton Roads, Virginia Beach, Richmond, and Northern Virginia in the DMV. All right, thanks for that bit of trivia, brother. Let's get ready to get started. I'm going to turn the music down a little bit. We're going to get started on the videos for tonight. Remember, tonight's topic in regards to pay for play, but I want to share that information regarding banking with you guys. And I hope that helped out a lot of you guys as far as the information here in Colombia. And if you have any other questions, let us know. Just reach out to me by way of the email. And like I said, we're only $30 away from our goal in Patreon. So we appreciate if you guys support us this evening to reach that particular goal. Shout out to you guys. Let's get started with the video.
Black Tribe. I have an episode here from a small channel, but it went viral about 4 weeks ago. It says, what I learned about men loving loneliness while being sex trafficked. All right, let's get into it.
I really want to make this clear before I do this video. I have judged myself harder than anybody else. Any of you people in the comment section that might say whatever can judge me. I have been my most harsh critic. There's nothing that anybody can say that I haven't said to myself. There's nothing that anybody could say that I haven't thought even when it comes to just the most brutal things in reality, we are our own worst enemy sometimes, and our own worst judger. And this is a video I really feel like I need to do, because a lot of people who have been in this industry or who have been trafficked, which I was trafficked when I was just about to turn 19. So a lot of people want to talk about the trauma side of it, and I totally respect that, but I want to talk about what I learned from men. I learned a lot. And actually, I learned a lot.
Okay.
And not all bad. I just want to make that clear. My perspective is very different than I think some other people's. I am not saying that. I want to make this clear real quick that, almost every single one of those men had no clue that I was being trafficked, that there was a pimp or somebody helping to, like, you know, there was somebody else behind the scene. They had no clue that some of the things that were being posted, it was actually a guy putting all that stuff on there. They had no clue. So I just want to make that clear before I do this. This is not a normal video that I have.
Very interesting, actually. I wonder for the guys, because, you know, we cover Thailand, Philippines, and all these other areas so much. The guys that engage in the sex tourism and attach themselves to passport bros, the sex pats, all the guys, the Westerners that go there for easy lays. I wonder how many of them are unknowingly taking part in sex trafficking of this nature. So
I feel very nervous. My heart is racing. My heart is pounding right now. And I feel nervous talking about this, and I hope that people understand where I'm coming from. I'm not trying to judge anybody here. I'm just trying to express my perception. So there's a quote that I often think about, and it's, life will break you. Nobody can protect you from that. And living alone won't either. For solitude will also break you with its yearning. But you have to love. You have to feel. It is the reason you are on this earth. So I didn't choose to be trafficked. And for a long time, I thought the only thing I take from that experience was going to be pain. But over time, I realized that I learned more than just the trauma part of it. I learned about people. I learned a lot about men and women and myself.
Men, pay for sex workers. I find this stereotype that clients of sex workers are these seedy guys on the fringes of society to be frustrating, not because I'm trying to be particularly defensive of clients, but just because it's simply not true. Men do pay and have paid for workers like me. You just don't know about it because they don't talk about it with people that they know. And paying for a woman's companionship does not mean that clients view women as objects. Of course, there are going to be sex worker clients who do view women as objects. But especially with the work I do, which is high-end girlfriend experience, men are paying for my companionship and for me to provide a service. The majority of my clients are nice guys. They're regular guys. We'll go out to dinner together. We'll have nice conversations. We tell each other about our lives. They're interested in me as a person and the whole experience of me, not just in my body. And of course, I've had bad clients, but I don't think we have anything to gain in sex work discourse and in feminist discourse by lumping all of these men into a monolith and dehumanizing them.
So the reason why men pay for sex, I mean, that varies from client to client. Everybody has different needs, but if I had to answer that in one word, I would say connection. That skin on skin connection, energy that we all crave as humans, that really has been the basis for many of my clients, the reason for paying for sex. It's that need to connect with another human. But of course it does vary from person to person. Some clients just wanted to explore certain fantasies in a safe space where they're not judged. So with a sex worker, there can be in a space where they're not being judged, they can be more open and explore things in a comfortable environment. Others, they might just want to celebrate or have a bit of escapism, or party. There was a lot of partying in the early days. Towards the end, I mean, I'm 3 years sober now, but the early days I was partying a lot.
Now, one of the things my brother Meek says this. He says, here we go now, blame the pay-for-play men who travel for sexual companionship and ask them silly questions about if they know if she should be trapped. No, actually, this whole thing, guys, that I presented tonight is the exact opposite of that. These women actually are more of defenders of the why men do what they do. And in each one of the clips that I used defends the why. Like I said, I might not be in that world, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that world doesn't have its place. And so these women are, you're going to hear nothing tonight, but you can understand why certain dudes are doing. Like the one lady that's talking right now, she's saying, you know, some men do it for fantasy, some men do it for, you know, the you know, communication as far as body to body contact. I like what the other lady that just said. She said that stigma of saying that all men that pay for play are creepy or perverted, and she's saying that's not true. So you're going to hear a lot of these commentaries tonight of people defending the why. That makes a little sense. That makes a lot of sense in regards to why guys are doing it. So none of this is going to be bashing the guys or blaming the guys, but this is more or less about the why men do it. And you're going to hear a lot of stuff that makes a lot of sense. Oh, you responded to the first woman with the glasses? Oh, you're going to hear her, and she's laying a foundation, because when she first talked about it, a lot of people criticized her, but she's laying a foundation in regards to, listen, anything that ever happened to me, I understand. I'm not putting the blame on anybody. She's just laying a foundation. But once she gets off into the story, and that's why I'm showing her story, because she kind of explains a lot of her clients. And that's why she said, I learned a lot about men that a lot of people assume about men, but being a sex worker like these other ladies that are talking, they understand men a lot more than the average woman does. But she's laying a foundation so people don't come at her like, yeah, you just trying to co-sign men, because she know how women are. And when you listen to her story, it'll come across as if she is co-signing the men because she understands men. But the average female walking down the street in the States, they don't understand what they're talking about. So they try to judge us and try to talk as if we're some creepy dudes. But these ladies are saying, no, no, no. It is not what you think. It's not a bunch of creepy dudes. Let's get ready to continue on, gentlemen. Oh, yeah, me.
And there's a lot of that in the industry. But I'm living proof that it can be done through sober eyes, because the last few years of it, I was completely sober. So yeah, for some clients, they might just be wanting to explore certain fantasies or party and celebrate. For others, it might just be just some companionship. They're just lonely. I mean, I saw a lot of widowers living out in big houses in the middle of nowhere on their own. And it's quite well known that loneliness is a big killer.
The other young lady is going to explain that. She's going to tell some stories. There are a lot of men that lost their wives that they just are doing pay for play on the companion side as well as the intimacy side. But a lot of them are just looking for companionship because they do have these big houses. The kids are grown. My wife has passed, and it's just me in this big house. And so a lot of them do it because they're just looking for that momentary bit of companionship. So let's continue on.
So sex work is a great solution to that. It can literally cure people's loneliness. We really do help people more than people realize in many, many ways. So it's almost like a form of therapy, seeing a sex worker. For other clients, I mean, one of my favorite stories is a client who unfortunately was disabled. He'd been in a motorbike accident. But it was his grandmother who organized the booking, and she was just the loveliest person and was so understanding. And I always remember it because it made me realize at that point that, wow, there is so much more to this industry than people realize. And that was really my first experience of that.
Just imagine your grandma seeing that you're lonely, you're disabled, you have needs, and you don't know what to do, and you feeling kind of like bad for yourself, and your grandma set up your pay for play.
Was meeting this wonderful grandmother, this wonderfully understanding grandmother who organized the booking for her grandson.
the rules correct so all the men can pay attention to this. You want us to give you a deposit down before we go on a date. You want us to contribute to your hair and your nails done before going on the date. And you want us to pay your baby daddy to watch his badass kids while we go on a date. On top of us going on the date and pay for everything included with that as well, correct? Man, just go ahead and sell it and be done with it.
Facts. No business trying to spit game to me at a gas station if you ain't trying to impress me by getting my gas. Baby, times is hard. I'm not gonna keep telling y'all niggas, stop trying to step to me with nothing. This is not that.
Realistically, if you know that you can't afford that woman, why are you even asking her out on a date? Period. But
hold on a second. I hate to interrupt you a little bit. Most of you women come to these dates with no money. So you can't afford the man either, right?
True. That's true. But I feel like most relationships are transactional. Like, you know that you're going to get something out of this situation.
So you're pay to play with pussy then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A woman you can buy is not worth keeping.
What are your thoughts on the expression, every man pays for sex?
I think every man pays for sex.
Men do pay for sex, even if they're in a relationship or they're married. In some ways, they're paying for sex, whenever they get it.
Don't men use power to get sex while women use sex to get power?
Yes. Yes.
Why do women often claim victimhood by the very thing they use to get power?
Oh, that's a good one. Because it comes down to the whole advantages of it all, like aggressiveness of it. Sometimes there's so many factors to that, to be honest with you.
Like I said, it's a cultural phenomenon. There's a lot of different factors in play. We got laws, we got rules, we got unsaid rules. We got a lot of things in play where the women, the mindset of the woman is put at odds with what's natural.
料金が発生するようなこういうタイプの性行為っていうのは浮気としてカウントされると思いますか？
されない気がします。好きだったらその人とそういうお金払ってやってるんじゃなくて、日々に不満があるのか、ストレスとかわかんないですけど、があってそういうところに息抜きに行くのかなって思っちゃいます。浮気とかじゃなくて。
So she says that if a man is cheating, in the Asian culture, she says many women don't consider it cheating. I mean, if a man doing pay for play, they don't consider that cheating. Like she said, he could be stressed out and she ain't tripping.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but I know someone does. You need to pay in order to play. If you're trying to get any type of luxury service or a luxury experience, you need to pay to play. It's very simple. If you guys don't understand that concept, then please don't go out. Thank you.
Let's be real here. A lot of men are going to pay for an experience. So, if you put it out there and you're selling it, and that's what you're doing, you're selling yourself when you're willing to have sex with a man for bags and shoes and money, getting your rent paid. It sounds exciting, but that's what you're doing. So you're selling yourself, and he will pay for that experience, but he will pay for nothing more. That doesn't mean that he wants you. He just wants the experience. And when he's over that experience and he's ready to move on to something else because now he's bored, can't be mad at that. And if women, we don't want to be objectified, we got to stop putting a price tag on ourselves. And that's exactly what it is that so many of us are doing. And for those of us who are older, in our 40s and up, we're setting that example for the younger women. And that is not cool.
You divorce sex from any emotion and you see it as an activity, why not get paid for that activity? And so this is what culture has done. It's slowly and steadily taken women to this point. First thing was to create the idea of sex before marriage. Then it was the idea of a spontaneous sex. Then it was the idea of one-night stands. Then it's now the idea of why are you doing one-night stands? Get paid for it. If you don't care about the guy, you're never going to see him again. Why would you waste your body? Might as well make money. So society has conditioned us to get more and more provocative.
How we all search for connection, even when we don't know how. I don't excuse what happened to me, but I can't pretend I didn't see the men who paid to see me who paid to see me. Not just for what they did, but for who they were.
Now, don't let that go by because that's what she's going to be talking about for the rest of the video. She actually sees the men for who they are as humans. That's what she meant by seeing. She didn't mean I could see as many men as I want. She's saying it in a sense of now I understand men in a way that I didn't understand before, the good and the bad when it came to men. Shout out to my man, $1 Bills with the $10 cash app. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you more than you realize. My man Dave said this. He said, honestly, I have mixed feelings about that. I look at it like this. I'm not a part of the world as far as pay for play. Even when I was single, I ain't going to pretend like I was out there like that. But I did want to do an episode dedicated to the why men do it. I've got one coming up in regards to why women do it as well. Because there are a lot of women that are paying for play, whether they want to admit it or not. There are dudes that don't pay no bills, that ain't paying no checks. There are women that are getting on flights, going to these different places like Stella, trying to get their groove back. So we're going to do one on the women as well. But there's a reason why we as humans in general have no problem with realizing that money can't buy us love. So we might as well use money to buy at least companionship for at least that short time period. And so these women are exposing, the type of clients that they've worked with, and it's not some seedy dude. And that, I think that's a stigma in the passport bro movement that's kind of hurting the passport bro movement, is the fact that a lot of people assume that dudes that do pay for play are some broke, can't get no coochie, sad. And a lot of times these ladies are saying that's the exact opposite of the type of clients we get. We get the type of clients that can get women. Many of them do have looks. Many of them do have money, but they may not even have time to be with a full-time girlfriend. You say, so from the looks of this, the prettier the woman have now pretty women have always monetized themselves. Pretty women have always monetized themselves. There are very few pretty women on the planet that don't monetize themselves to a certain extent. Like I said, whether it be paying by way of cash or paying by way of giving that pretty woman attention. Because all women look at attention like currency. Don't ever forget that. If you ain't paying with cash, you paying with attention. And so with pretty women, they want both. He said, it doesn't matter if they're married or not. This is so true, brother. So true. Back to the video. Let me shut up for a minute. Let me go grab me a beer.
Some were broken, some were grieving. Some just wanted somebody to lay next to feel human again. And for reasons I'm still figuring out, I've wanted to understand them. I want to understand everything. I'm the type of person that questions everything. Why do people do this? Why, I am very fascinated by people and including my own decisions, but especially others. I remember there was one guy whose wife passed away, and he didn't even want sex from me. He really just wanted somebody to watch a movie with, to lay with, to talk, or to be in silence, while he remembered what it felt like to be close to someone. It reminded me of the movie Her, where Joaquin Phoenix falls in love with an AI, not because he's desperate, but because he's lonely. Because even though the connection isn't real, it feels real enough. That's the part I think most people don't understand, is that for some men, this wasn't just like about lust. It was about escaping the silence and trying to find somebody that can maybe
try to plug that hole in your heart. That's very true of not just prosties, but chicks that work in clubs, dancers. If you've talked to dancers before, dated dancers before, they'll tell you that a lot of the guys that come in there are super lonely. Intimacy is not really the first thing on their mind, but connection. A lot of the guys are married. A lot of guys have whole families, but their wives completely forgot about them. So it's like having a roommate. The intimacy, of course, is dried up, but the emotional connection is no longer there either. And the guys are craving the emotional connection. It's a very strange thing that these chicks are basically therapists for a lot of these guys and help keep them going throughout their day to day. That's insane when you hear that, but damn, dude, it's crazy. What quiet lives of desperation a lot of dudes are living.
Give you comfort and trying to find the warmth in places that left them colder than before. And that's not something that normally we can find with society nowadays by just going out, you know. Sometimes you can, but I don't know. People are different. I'm not here to judge, but I'm not really here to judge. Not every man I met was like that though. Some were addicts, not to substances or alcohol, but to the chase, the high of the transaction. I wasn't a person to them. I was just part of a loop. It felt like Shame, the movie where Michael Fassbender's character can't stop seeking out sex, even when it leaves him feeling emptier each time. That kind of addiction, it doesn't care about faces. It only cares about the cycle. I saw it, men who thought that they were in control, but they were drowning in it, coming back again and again, hoping it would fill something inside of them that just kept growing. They became addicted to that lifestyle. It's weird, but it happens.
None of us want to talk about that part. We're going to come back to this. None of us want to talk about the part that, like I mentioned before, if you do something in excess, it does become an addiction, whether we want to admit it or not. And because it's sex and we're paying for it, some of us don't want to admit that it can come across as addictive behavior. A lot of people want to talk about the crackhead paying for crack, but we don't want to talk about the dude that's paying for pay for play and he's addicted to that lifestyle. We want to talk about people that's paying for pornography, but we don't want to talk about the person that's paying for coochie on a grand scale to where, like I said, the one dude in Medellin went through $100,000 in 6 months. $100,000 in 6 months on some coochie, Medellin coochie. So a lot of times guys are addicted to it, dangerously addicted. A lot of guys are addicted to the strip clubs. We knew that back in the day. So it is now with pay for play. And the guys don't want to admit that. My man officially Kobe says this, say, as the saying goes, 8, 9s, 10s are for the community. This is often true. The rich community, this is true. Women do not go backwards in experiences. They only get a rich dude to spend and it's over. That's true. My man Paper Route says this. It's the thirsty dudes who actually give pay for play a bad name. Absolutely correct. He said there's a difference between a John and a client. This is true. A client is high end, and a John is searching for the box on Blade Strip. A lot of guys don't realize this. You got high end pay for play in Colombia. There are women in Colombia that have websites, and these are high end pay for play ladies, dudes. High end pay for play. These are the true call girls. These are the ones that Kevin Samuels talked about, that he and other top level dudes would go after if they were doing pay for play that particular week. If it were me, if I was single and I was on that level, my pay for play is either brothel or high end. There was no way in hell I'm going. No. You ain't gonna see me scrounging around the streets. Hell no, you'll never see me in the streets of Cartagena walking around. Hey baby, hey, how much? No, sound too junky. I'm sorry, all you dudes that do that in Cartagena, walk the streets at 3 o'clock in the morning. Not Dre. Hell, get the fuck out of here. No, I'm either gonna be at a brothel or I would have reached out to a high end. Yes, I would have. I would have paid for the high end because the high end is high end because of how she carries herself. A. B, high end has skills that the young girls ain't got. C, high end knows how to keep her mouth shut and don't talk about all your business. So it's a lot of stuff that comes along with the high end. And they're the 8s, they're the 9s, they're the 10s on a whole nother level as far as performance, and they get recommended by other high-end clients. there is a difference between being a John and being a client. That is so true. That is 100% true. In the movie Pretty Woman, he went from being a John to a client. In the movie with it was I'm trying to remember. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie. Who was it? She was his wife. It was a spy movie, kind of like a spy comedy. Jamie Lee Curtis. Remember she did that striptease dance for him when he was in the hotel room and he kind of like hid in the shadows. And she wasn't supposed to know that she was actually doing a striptease for her husband, for her own husband. He purchased her as a high-end call girl, didn't he? Did he purchase her off the streets or purchase her? That's what the big dudes do. And I'm talking about dudes that they're, if you want to take it to another level, right now you've got the sugar daddy movement and the sugar baby movement, where in countries, if you got money, all you got to do is just get an apartment, get you like 2 or 3 25 euros to live in that apartment, and you smashing sugar babies all month, all year. A lot of dudes do that. They just provide everything for the apartment. And when daddy come through, daddy better come. And you better put in your best performance for daddy or you got to go. So it is a major sugar. A lot of dudes are getting to that point where, why should I just keep calling call girls when I could just have my own personal call girl on a regular? I got my own home. And there's a part, I saw a documentary on it. There's a part in every major Japanese city that is like the call girl row. And I'll tell you, I mean, the sugar mama, sugar baby row and sugar daddy. And I'll tell you what I mean. In certain major cities in Japan, they actually have neighborhoods dedicated to nothing but high-end dudes. And this is where the pay-for-play girl, their own personal sugar baby, stays in these apartments in this certain area. And these high-end apartments. This ain't like no raggedy area. I mean, I watched a documentary on it. I mean, high-end. And check it out. Just like Leonardo DiCaprio, they said that in Japan, when it comes to a sugar baby, once you hit 25, 90% of the sugar daddies tell you they kick them out and they replace them with another young girl. So just like Leonardo, they do that in Japan. Soon as she hits 25, on her 25th birthday, she got to go on her 25th birthday. So a lot of them go looking for, they know that like they're 24 in Japan, they go looking for another sugar daddy that will take care of somebody over 25. But most sugar daddies in Japan, that gets them the apartment, it gets them a place to stay, and it gives them money. But when daddy come over, daddy got to be taken care of. Once you hit 25, you got to get out. Yeah, True Lies. That's the movie. Yeah, True Lies. So there are guys that's on that level, that think on that level when it comes to their pay for play. He said randomly found a high-end pay-for-play escort website within Colombia, just randomly. He said a lot was based on Bogota, Medellin, and Cali too. Just randomly looking. Yep. And that's how I found out. Just randomly looking one day, just kind of like doing some research, and was like, oh wow, they got high-end call girls in Colombia. I didn't know that. Let's go back to the video.
Then there were the ones who didn't belong there. Attractive, charming, the kind of man that you would think could pick up any girl in a bar. The one that you were just like, why are you here? Why are you paying me? And the craziest thing is, one guy I'll never forget, I asked him and he just said that he's tired of the games. He was tired of going out and taking women out on dates. Bingo. And spending $200 on food and drinks, and just to be ghosted. Or to find out that the girl had a boyfriend, or to find out, there's all these games involved. He just got sick and tired of it. He became he became bitter for sure.
Yeah, he checked out. Dude, this is one of the craziest things about this whole situation is people like to think that most of the dudes, and maybe most is the correct word, that engage in this stuff look exactly how you think they would look. But there are a segment of guys that are absolutely like balls to the wall, succeeding in life, redlining it, doing everything they're supposed to do, like firing on all cylinders. They got businesses, they got multiple millions of dollars, they're fucking super shredded. Women are swooning over them, like they have everything, and they would rather pay pros. They would rather make it transactional, be done, go back and focus on the grind. It's like scratching that itch. You just need to get the sensation, boom, moving on to the next one. Some of them have become absolutely robotic in terms of like, oh, they're just too busy. Their lives are too crazy. They can't really have a family because they're too ambitious, and they'll throw away something like family, children, all that kind of shit until they're ready to, you know, squirt one out on some chick that they deem is good enough. And I've had conversations with guys on that level, and they'll just say, you know, when I'm ready, I'll squirt one in some chick that's good enough, and she'll have my babies and she'll raise them, and I'll make sure she's set up and all that stuff. But I'm too busy. I got my business. I'm trying to conquer the world. I'm building my empire. There are guys on that level that engage, powerful men that engage in this kind of behavior. And it's for that reason, because they're out there chasing their dream, their goals is number one in their lives, and women are a distant second. They don't even make the top 10. Like, these guys are hyper focused. And a lot of these guys, these top percenters, women want them, but the men don't want them back. They're just like a utility for these guys. Like, you make babies and you give me intimacy and you scratch a physical itch I need scratching, and that's all you're good for in the eyes of some of these dudes.
I would be like that. If I could describe the type of person that I would be if I were in the pay for play world, mine would not be luxury in the sense of going to these countries and experiencing all these different women, because I already did that in the States. Living in Florida, everybody around the world is like New York or LA or Texas. Everybody from around the world in type of lady ends up in Florida or New York or Chicago or Texas or LA. So you get your selection is far greater than if you were in, you know, Nebraska. But I could, if I were to define, knowing me, knowing how I am, and the workaholic behavior that I have, and you got dudes like Theo Wolf and other guys, I could see myself more or less like that. I'm too busy to be chasing a bunch of chicks, looking for, at a certain point in time, looking for another wife, looking for this, looking for that. I'm like, listen, when I got an itch that need to be scratched, let me make a phone call to one of these call girls, have her come over. I know I ain't got to worry about getting drugged and none of that crazy stuff. I'll go ahead and pay the fee. And plus, she's elegant and lady enough enough to where if I want to take her out to a nice dinner, to a nice spot, she knows the menu just as much as I do. She enjoys a good type of wine as much as I do, and she smokes cigars just like I do. And it would be something like that's how I would be. That if I was in that world, I know how Andre is. That's why I say I could you and I'm not judging guys, don't get me wrong, but on this episode we're kind of showcasing the different type of guys that are involved in that, and not everybody thinks the same and move the same. Some dudes can go to Thailand and be out there on the streets with it, you know, go down Walking Street and they're good. Me, I no, that ain't me. No, that ain't me. I ain't wired like that. I could pick up a regular chick like that, but I gotta have me somebody of quality. I'm funny style like that, and some of you guys are funny style like I am. So don't judge me. Let's get back to the video. Some of you guys are just like me. You just as busy as I am.
It's crazy. As opposed to some of the guys on the bottom that are absolutely thirsty and can't get anything, and they will pay to have their itch scratched out of desperation, out of loneliness, out of, you know, yearning for connection. And then the other side of the extreme spectrum is those guys that get all the love, the attention, the yearning that they would want from women, but completely reject it. And they make it transactional for the opposite reason. It's nuts.
And he was just like, I'd rather just pay for what I want. at that point. Like I would just pay and I could see like that he became bitter. It felt like what is love? And the film, men stop trying to connect because they feel used, tired of rejection. And instead of risking real intimacy again, they pay for something simple, even if it's hollow. But the most unsettling part was the men who didn't want people at all. I've seen it now, men choosing AI girlfriends, virtual companions, because they don't disappoint. They're programmed to love you back. It reminds me of Blade Runner 2049. The main character has an AI girlfriend. She says everything he needs to hear. She's perfect, but she's not real. And that's the problem. That's where we're heading. Real intimacy it's too risky. We build something artificial and call it love. And it works until you realize you're even lonelier than before, because people have a hard time now being transparent, because we've all been hurt, right? We've all been hurt. Some men don't want intimacy. They want control. I wasn't a person to some of them. I was something to conquer. It felt like Ex Machina, where men build AI women not to love them, but to own them, to manipulate, to discard them when they stop playing along. This is the part that really terrifies me, though, is it's not just trafficking anymore. It's not just men paying for women. We've stepped into something darker. For me, what I learned about men was there's a different variety of men, but honestly, most of them were lonely, were bitter, and
that'll set off men in the comments, men that are watching this video right now. She like try to tell in the comments that she doesn't know what she's talking about, but she was the pro that you're paying for that saw you during your pillow talk moments that you don't share with the internet. It is true. Like, why would a happy guy, a guy who's got everything going for him, a guy who's content with his life, pay for women? You have to, like, everybody pays. Duh. I understand that concept, like taking a girl out and all that stuff, but they're getting something genuine in return. There are good women still in the world, but for the guys that have relinquished that idea and now only believe in the transactional form of it, pure transaction where they're paying for it, period. And they'll try to cope and say, like, everything's fine in my life. Everything's going great. I don't need anything. Like, how many guys are the true type A 1%er successful multimillionaire guys that will absolutely ruthlessly compete, throw away everything from their own blood, their families, their friends, down the drain to achieve their goals? Not many of you are in that position. I'd argue that there's not one, maybe there's one of you in the comment section on that level, but most of you are just normal dudes. You're lonely. You got no options. You're at the bottom of the barrel. You're one of the losers of capitalism. You're scrounging 2 pennies together to get by. Women don't want you. You probably don't have many friends. It's just the reality of the situation. Maybe you could cheat the game and use, your position in the capitalist society that you're in to go overseas somewhere where the power of the dollar or whatever Western currency you have in salary puts you on the top percentile level, say in a place like Thailand. So then you reap those benefits of being a top percenter, but it doesn't come with the competitiveness, the ambition, the drive, the success, the smarts, all that shit that the real top percenters have. You're just taking a quick shortcut. So the guys in the comments that may be mad that she says the word bitter, you guys need to understand that if you had your dream life, if everything were to go correctly in your life, you would have never landed in the position to pay for it in the first place. And that's all she's saying, is that once the pillow talk starts, once the guy starts to, wear his heart on his sleeve and tell her all the real feelings that he has and, all the intimacy that he's missing, finally gets to talk to somebody. He thinks he can share some things and be real because he's paying her. She's a professional. They'll never see each other again. Who's she going to tell his secrets to? It's not like they cross paths. It's not like they're socially in the same world. This is a transactions. Person will disappear and I likely you'll never see them again and hear about anything from them ever again because of the confidentiality of the transaction that you're having. So yeah, bitter is a very apt word to use. Now, it'll piss people off, especially the dudes that try to cope and be like, well, I use it for different reasons. No, dude, part of the reason is bitterness. You hate, whether it's bitter at your situation in life, bitter at your frustration of not being able to get women, bitter at the fact that you are lonely and you seek some intimacy. I'm neither condoning or condemning, but what she's describing it as is very accurate. Once you can move past that, you can become okay with what it is that you do, which is fine. Live your life. You're two adults. Assuming the other person's not being trafficked, like she said, You're two adults. Whether you get into a sugar baby, sugar daddy relationship, you're two adults. Whether you're renting a girlfriend for like months on end, you're two adults. Whether you're smashing the maid and giving her money on the side over in these countries, you're two adults, bro. You make your own decisions. But if your life was idealized, if you really, truly were doing everything you were supposed to do, you were doing your, self-improvement, becoming the best version of yourself day in and day out, making sure that your body's on point, that your mind is on point, that your finances is on point, you most likely would have never landed in this position to have to pay for it in the first place. That's it. So thoughts on that? Curious.
Had a hard time finding something meaningful, and or I think they became addicted to the whole cycle. That was the majority of it.
There's your addicts too, yeah.
The ones who were grieving or whatever, that was different. There were men. This is the part that I feel like the most embarrassed about and ashamed, and I don't think I have forgiven myself. Eventually, when I would find out that men were married, it was horrible, and I felt horrible. I would try to talk to them about it and ask them questions I shouldn't even be asking, to try to like figure out how could I help their marriage and what could I give any advice. And I remember asking this doctor, and I was like, where does your wife think you are right now? And he said, oh, on lunch break. And even just saying that now, I remember that day, the pit of my stomach, I was a part of the problem. The people behind me were a part of the problem. And I feel so sorry. I feel so bad for those women. I feel so much guilt and pain. And honestly, I don't understand those men. I'm just going to be honest.
How? You've been doing this as a professional. You should know, because of the realness that they had when they told you. They were lonely in their own households. For men, sex is not something emotional. It's just like a physical need that's getting released. He loves his wife. He'll never leave his wife for you, but he could go and engage in the stuff and forget your name the next day. Not like a woman who engages in sex with a man, where there must be emotional attachment. She must build him up in her mind, be something like Prince Charming that can save me, that can upgrade my life, that, you visualize having a family. Men don't go through that entire Disney mentality in order to have sex with a woman. It's simply boner, finish, next, boner, finish, next, boner, finish, next. And that's how it goes. Literally. Dude doesn't even have to see your face. Doesn't even care what you actually look like. Just needs to get his rocks off, and then goodbye. Which is why the transaction exists in the form that it exists, where men pay and then they kick you out. Goodbye. And they're okay with that. It's just the women that are trying to rationalize and figure out how men could be so emotionally detached from the act of sex. Well, that's the exact reason we're not the same. That's the reason where men have been trying to tell women this. This is why the dating culture doesn't work today. This is why women are getting destroyed in hookup culture with dating apps and all stuff. Men are perfectly happy to pump and dump women. Especially the top percentile men that match all the women are completely happy to just have a rotation, bro, of like 5 to 10 women that they're just pumping it up. The guy will be absolutely cruising at the most perfect, like, zen period of his life, where he has like 5 different women, 6 different women. His business is crushing it. He's not stressed at all. He doesn't have to deal with headaches of chicks starting arguments. If one even has a problem with him or tries to make his life more difficult, he just flicks them like a flea and just replaces them with the next chick. And you have this rotation of absolute baddies. Everyone is just always trying to vie for your attention. So they're always on their best behavior. There's never any arguments. There's no fighting. There's no having to be the fucking tampon for her emotional distress. I mean, you get the best version of all these women while you're single, and they're vying for the position of like long-term relationship. Everyone's trying to angle for you. Because I lived that life, guys, and there's plenty of other dudes that have been successful. They'll tell you in the comment section, that's like the prime that a man has, where he's getting the most work done, magnetizing the most people to him, is in the best shape of his life, getting the best sleep ever. He's got multiple chicks that are just offering themselves, their life, their world, their attention, their everything, their femininity to this guy. What is the incentive of that man to settle down when he's got 5, 6 different women that are doing that? And the incentives are hard to find until you mature a little bit, you become financially stable enough, and now you're thinking on another level. And this is where men start to change. That women need to understand that men go through that phase too. It's not a hoe phase. It's just like a building your empire phase. where now you're settling down, you're about approaching your 30s or getting older, and you start to have like the thoughts about being a father. What would that be like? The next level of manhood. And then like, raising a family, being the head of a family, right? Having a wife of your own, picking the best of the litter that you have of chicks that you have on rotation, right? You meet a girl that checks all the marks now. You're far more selective about the women that you're sleeping with. And then once one comes along with all the checks that you're looking for that makes a good woman, then the guy settles down. Then he picks his quote winner, and then he starts a family. And so that's essentially the route that I've seen every successful man take. Every guy I've ever met that's ever been in a winning position, that's got his shit together, that's the route every single guy takes. You could be technically a really good woman, but if you catch a dude during that exact moment of building in his life, there's nothing you could really do to lock him down. I'll be completely honest. I mean, women need to understand this. Like, this is a dangerous phase in a man's life. A top, a percentile male, high value man, whatever name you want to give him, Chad, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. But a guy that's got his shit together, if a good woman catches him during that phase, you won't be the one that gets picked because it's just right person, wrong time. But once a guy gets a little older, gets all that shit out of his system, gets in a financial position to start raising a family and all that stuff, then you want to be in the general vicinity to angle for the guy that's ready to settle down. The emotional unavailability of men is true. Women deal with it all the time. But women also don't help themselves by saying really stupid shit, by divulging information about their past, by just placing themselves in the fun girl box. It's like the version of the nice guy, the female version. And you will never be looked at as something serious. Like, women can talk themselves out of long-term relationships with these high-quality men too. You just got to say one stupid story about how you got double-teamed in college. Game over.
I don't really understand that. If it's not working and you have to go and betray somebody and go behind their back and pay somebody and you don't know, you might as well leave the relationship, the marriage. But again, that's not for me to force people. That was one of the worst.
Before she goes any further, you guys may wonder, well, why is Andre dropping these pay-for-play websites? For those that are into that world, there you go. You can find women that are of a different caliber in many of those sites instead of roaming the streets at night, dealing with lack of safety. I'd rather have you guys safe if you're going to be in that world. Not like I said, it's not my world, but it may be yours. The second reason is that, like I said, for safety. I'd rather you guys be safe than just roaming around. But some of you guys may know other guys that need to have information about how to look for that type of, pay for play when they go through different parts of Colombia and not be in the street. So you may want to share that information. But at the end of the day, I like what the brother said. And shout out to my man, Legion of Men. Make sure you guys subscribe to his channel. Great information. Over 600,000 subscribers, or almost 600,000 subscribers. And like he said, every man goes through, every successful man, I'll put it like that, like he did, goes through our stages when it comes to sex. You're not going to be the same stage or mindset of sex, or shouldn't be with the same mindset of sex at 23 that you are at 53 or 63. I'm gonna tell you now, I don't look at sex the same way that I used to. Do I enjoy sex? Do I love sex? Yes. Do I love being intimate with my special wife? Yes, I do. But I'm not looking to be with my wife and this one and that one and this one. You see how I say I don't look at sex the same way? Now I'm just looking at sex for with one person compared to when I was 23 or even 43. It was a completely different dance. So he's right. Men, when it comes to our sex life, we have to accept that evolution takes place. And I'm not talking about physical evolution. Physically, you might still be smashing chicks and smashing with the best of them. But as far as the time that you got and how you use your time and your mind and dealing with the whole dance of, I got her over here and she tripping and she over here want to be a stalker and she's over here driving me crazy. I'm done with that part. That part probably was a part that made me sit my butt down too. Shout out to T-Mac in the building. The fact that I was tired of all the headaches that come along with if I had sex with this female. Oh my God, she's a headache. She pretty, but she a headache. How do I get rid of her? Oh my God. Have you ever had somebody that you thought that you really wanted? She's so fine. She's so cool. You thought that you really wanted her. And after you had sex with her a couple times, you were like, And now you plotting how to get rid of this person. And I got tired of that dance, that plotting of how to get rid of a female. I was always plotting, always trying to come up with an idea or plan of how to get rid of somebody, hurt somebody's feelings, in other words. Whether I make them mad and make them leave me, or I ghost them and I don't call them and they get mad and leave me, or they fall in love with somebody else, or I accuse them of something, whatever it is. I just was coming up with anything to get rid of them. And many of them, you guys, my boys would be like, man, she is it. She is fine. She is working my last nerve. And I know I'm not the only one that you've had a woman where everybody, your mama co-signed her, your friends co-signed her. She pulled up at work for lunch one time. Your male co-workers were like, dang, that's you, Dre? But you wasn't feeling that female. So, like I said, at the end of the day, man, you know, and like he said, your sex life, if you are a healthy male in this world, should be evolving with you along with everything else in your manhood. Let's go back to the video. Let's go back.
I would say the other worst thing was being trafficked to DRUGS dealers. Yeah. I hear it from guys I know. I hear this from friends, from guys I used to date, or my partner now that we are together. How OnlyFans is safer than dating. How AI girlfriends never reject you. I've watched men lose themselves to corn because it feels easier than facing real people. And women, we're doing the same thing. Women are just as bad. I mean, we're ghosting for sport, using men for attention we don't even care about. But now it's not just us hurting each other, it's machines. AI girlfriends are already here. I've seen the ads. She listens to you. She won't cheat on you. And people think it's funny and they laugh. But I don't think it is. Because the truth is, humans are parasites to each other. We drain each other, we use each other, we traumatize each other. But here's the part that stings. Who builds the AI girlfriends? Who creates the corn? Who feels trafficking? It's not robots, it's humans. So when humans are trying to say, hey, don't worry, this robot isn't going to hurt you, who's the creator of it? A human. We create the very thing that destroys us. We hurt each other.
I understand why she's got a bit of a doomer mentality. Clearly, her past was not easy, dude. But honestly, you're a grown-ass adult and you have to take responsibility for the people that you allow in your inner circle. True. The people that have access to your most, authentic, vulnerable self. Don't give these people that kind of access. Some of the trauma that you deal with, whether in childhood or whether in adulthood or, from dating, all that stuff will determine what you allow into your life, right? If you allow people that step over your boundaries, that disrespect you, that use you, there's something wrong with you. You can be tricked once and you can give people the benefit of doubt, but if you get tricked multiple times, if you get tricked over and over again, like you could say one person was an asshole. You could say that one person truly stole your heart. They used you. They gaslit you. They pumped you up and then took away all their attention and made you absolutely an empty shell. You could say that. It's true. There could be people that when you were in your, say, innocent, first time dating, all this stuff, ripped your heart out. Cool story. But once you're an adult, once you've dated enough people, you need to be able to understand the red flags. You need to guard your heart a little bit. You need to have some self-respect and some boundaries. You need to demand certain things from people that they show and do for you first in order for you to keep unlocking more and more of yourself for them. You can't just give somebody everything once you met them because they show you a little love and attention. Unfortunately, a lot of people do that because they're lonely, because they're pining for that connection. And when you are in that position, that vulnerable position, you tend to give somebody everything from the get-go, hoping that they will accept you. And that's how you get taken advantage of. It's a very unfortunate thing, but I wouldn't go doomer on society. I would just say learn to pick better. Sorry. I mean, it comes off as a bit cold, but the honest truth is there are plenty of good people all over the world, all over the place, honestly. It's just finding them is hard. But that doesn't mean because it's hard to find them that you put up with and let people less than take advantage of you. That's all I'm saying. Guard yourselves. Not everybody deserves your attention and your love. That's just the truth, no matter how lonely you get. And the comment section says, if we don't stop seeing each other as disposable, we'll build a world where none of us matter. Yeah, the Western world's pretty cooked. I mean, there might be a shot at going back to more traditional conservative values. Some of the younger generations I heard were more conservative than the ones previous. People are seeing the damage of social media, the damage of dating, hookup culture, hypersexualization, all that shit, the quote female empowerment, all that. That doesn't empower you at all. It just turns you into a commodity. I mean, you can now sell pictures of yourself for $5. I don't think that's what female empowerment, you know, and what the feminists of the first generation had in mind when they were saying that stuff and ushering in their new era of what it meant to be on equal footing with men. I don't think devolving into just, you know, selling yourself for pictures and a subscription was what any of them thought the future would hold. But alas, here we are. The movement got hijacked, just like every other movement that gets popular in the world today, whether it was Occupy Wall Street got hijacked into crazy leftist politics. BLM got hijacked into whatever it turned into. The Tea Party got hijacked into whatever it turned into. You know, everything gets hijacked because once you understand it's a class warfare, once you understand it's a haves versus have-nots, it's the people at the top versus all of us at the bottom, you start to ask the real questions here, and you start to find out why we're being so divided, why we are using one another, why we're being trained to use one another, right? Why marriage and dating is so broken, because it does benefit somebody somewhere, some group, someone benefits from the state of society today.
Yes.
Follow the money. Then you will get your answers. Who benefits? Who's getting all this money? Who's creating all these things? And then you'll find your answer. Anywho, this was from Seizure Girl. If you enjoyed today's episode, hit the subscribe button. Let me know your comments below, guys. Follow the second channel if you haven't already. We're being suppressed hard as hell. I got to make another video getting on YouTube's ass about their automated systems just completely crushing the reach of the channel. So follow the second one if you haven't. Join us on the private community. We do calls every day of the week now with the community. I hop on a bunch of them myself, and appreciate everybody that's been doing the private consult. It's been a blast talking to you, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.
All right. So the one thing that he said that I always say, follow the money. Who is it that's benefiting because of the War of the Roses between males and females, as far as we want our women more traditional, or we want 6 figures from the men? Somebody's down the line behind the scenes benefiting. And I believe that technology is going to, whoever is pulling the technological strings is going to benefit. I believe the people that are creating robotic wives and robotic girlfriends are behind this. I believe that those that are trying to create AI girlfriends, like the movie Her, to where men don't have to have any interaction with women except for work. I believe that they're trying to lay the foundation of a world where we do not have to have true interactions, and we are falling into it by attacking each other. So by the time technology catches up with the bitterness that men and women have with each other, we are all going to run the opposite way. In Japan, they are making so much money off of anime, movies, and comic books, not just based off of good stories, which are really good, but many Japanese men have a crush, a literal crush on the characters in the comic books and in the movies. The men are actually, I just watched a documentary on it. The men are actually in love and say, I don't have to worry about her arguing with me. I don't have to worry about her withholding sex. I don't have to worry about getting her pregnant. We're talking about characters in a comic book and in a movie, an animated movie. They are getting us comfortable with not having intimate contact with each other. And I'm going to ask one more thing, and I want to hear what you guys in the comments have to say about this. If women in the West went back to being traditional women, are we ready to go back to being traditional men? Because one of the things that we complain about, many of us say, this is why I'm traveling, because women in the United States are no longer traditional. Okay, if there was a movement over the next 5 years of women going back to being traditional, taking care of business, taking care of the house, taking care of the kids, encouraging their man, supporting their man, respecting their man, are we ready as men to go back? I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. Don't shun this one. I want you to take a minute to think about it. Because there are traditional expectations to keep that woman traditional in the States if they went back that way. Are we even ready? I say most men that complain about women not being traditional, you ain't even nowhere near ready to be traditional your dang self. Thank you, Paper Route, for being honest, brother. Neither am I. Neither am I. And I'm as traditional as they get. And I'm still not as ready to be traditional like Paw and them were. Going out there, busting my butt, losing my mind, losing my health, and I'm dying 20 years before grandma. Shout out to T-Mac with the $10. He said, in Japan, and shout out to you, man. I'm glad you had a safe flight to LA. He said, in Japan, some of the men think their life-size dolls are legitimate girlfriends. That's true. I did see that. I saw one dude with like 2 dolls as if he was in a polygamous relationship, like a real one. And he was serious. These dudes be buying outfits for their dolls. They buy shoes. They buy makeup. I mean, these dudes are serious about this. They are trying their best that any way they can make money off of us, even by separating us. Even by separating us. That's why I don't feed too far left into the manosphere, red pill, SYOB, save yourself. I support, but I don't veer too much into it with the woman, the despairing behavior, MGTOW behavior. I don't move too, because I see that it's going to be some money behind it. That's why I don't push too much into us men, He-Man Woman's Haters Club mindset, because I kid you not, shout out to Iman in the building. I kid you not. There are some people in the background trying to be a puppeteer and get it's not coincidental that social media is pushing so much anti-men, anti-women rhetoric right now. It's not a coincidence that those are the hottest YouTube channels, hottest YouTube videos, hottest TikTok videos. It's not a coincidence. Think about it, guys. It's not a coincidence that every time you turn around, from the presidents to the governors, chief of police, mayors, we've all, since I was a kid, everybody knew that the mayor had a side chick. Everybody knew that a president had some side chick. Well, since I was a kid, nobody gave a damn. Now they're exposing it as if they're putting a light on it. The mayor of New York, the governor of this city, that state. And so they're trying to do anything to wag the finger. Look at him, he's a bad person. Look at her, she's a bad person. These things have been going on forever. Kings have had side wives or concubines. So for us to sit back and I just don't think that it's coincidental. And I don't think that a lot of men really want to go back to being traditional men. So since most of us don't, And I know it's great content. I'm going to read what you guys have to say. I know it's great content out there as far as criticizing women for not being traditional, but we ain't trying to go back to being traditional. So who the hell are we to criticize women for being traditional? Who are we to sit back and say women should go back from talking about 6 figures, 6 packs, and more than 6 inches? Let them. Because we ain't trying to go back. Who are we to go back when women say, I'm not paying 50-50? Let them. Because you ain't gonna want her to pay any less than 50-50 in this world's economy. Most of you guys still in the States or in UK, you listen, she gonna do something around. She gonna pay a light bill or something. So men are not trying to go back to paying 100% in this economy, in this world, with a lot of these ungrateful women. Even if the women went back, it's too late. Men aren't going back. Men are not trying to be traditional anymore. Not in the States, I can see. My man T-Mac said, yep, he said he saw a man with 2 dials, and the dials had the same name as my ex-wife and her sister. I teased my ex-wife about it. He said, it's too late. He said, too much time has passed. Never. He said, I wouldn't believe it even if it happened. My brother's DJ says nope. Paper Route says nope. Andrew says, honestly, no. Yeah. That stage is set. I mean, think about it. They separated us as family. They separated us as races. Now they're separating us as gender. Do not, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, guys, do not take what they're trying to program us to do for granted. It's not a coincidence that they could convince humans who for thousands of years, think about it, thousands of years, didn't give a damn about race, didn't know race. There was no such term as race. How do we judge each other? By family name and tribe. My family name versus your family name. My tribe versus your tribe. For thousands of years, we weren't even broken down into countries like that. And when we were, it was country versus countries, yeah. Until somebody says, you know you white. And since you white like me, we better than those other people. And then everybody else fell in suit. What's my point? If they could convince us by the billions to believe in race and the benefits of race, do you not think that they can convince billions of people to cause us to separate by genders? In the sense of we don't even want each other anymore? You know how much money is made if they could keep a woman single? She got to now pay for plumber. She's got to pay for food delivery. She's got to pay for somebody to fix that roof. She's overcharged when it comes to car repair for brand new anything they got to do with that car. We all know a woman by herself is going to be overcharged. When it comes to opportunities, a woman is always expected to get less, make less, but pay more. There is so much money made off of women that are lonely, whether it be the wine industry making money because women are drinking more wine than ever, whether it be the prescription pills, women are more depressants than ever before. They're making money off of that. It is too much money made off of women just splurge spending. They're bored, they're lonely, so they go spend on, I want to splurge on this or splurge on that. Girl, I got this purse, I got 5 of these purses. Girl, you got 115 purses in the closet right now. But because she lonely and she don't have a man in front of her to tell her, babe, you gonna slow down on those purchases of those purses. When a woman does not have a man, she will overspend every time. Every time she will overspend. Because it's their nature to want attention. And these industries are feeding into a woman's desire for attention, to where a man in her life causes her to balance her spending behavior. Babe, we're going to spend the money on this instead of that. It benefits so many industries for women to be single. This is another reason why they put that rhetoric out there. It benefits the United States to keep y'all single. All those benefits that many of us men would get from tax benefits, because we're in couples and head of household get the tax breaks. Us single men don't get the tax breaks, especially us men with no kids. So we pay more taxes. The U.S. benefits off the fact that they can keep men single. That's why they make being a parent for a man so difficult. Being married for a man, so difficult. Getting divorced for a man, so difficult, to where men shun getting married, and we end up paying higher in taxes than men that would normally be in marriage, because we don't get those tax breaks. We don't get the tax breaks as far as our kids. We don't get the tax breaks as far as head of household. We don't get the married couples tax breaks. None of that. We get none of those tax breaks. It's expensive to be a man in the United States. I'm gonna say that again. Let's stop pretending like we all got it together too. It's expensive as hell to be a single man in the United States. It's expensive. Your rent by yourself is expensive. Your mortgage, your car note, your car insurance, your health, your woman. If you got a woman, she can tell you how to eat healthy, make some recipes for you, got your back, making sure you take your high blood pressure pills, making sure you make it to your doctor's appointments. When you're a single man, you ain't thinking about none of that. You ain't thinking about none of that. The statistics regarding men's health in marriage, when you're married to the right one, I'm not talking about just married to anybody. The statistics of a man's life when you are married, society looks at you like you more of a somebody as a married man than a single man. It's just how we do it. Any of you dudes that are single, it doesn't matter how much money you got. The dude that's married, you could be single with $1 million. The dude that's married with $1 million, he's being invited to the president's ball, the mayor's ball, in the $5,000 plate events. They ain't inviting your single ass, unless you somebody already famous. Men that are married are statistically more prone to get the promotion, more prone to live longer. A married man that's been married up to 10 years, did you know this? His work experience and his intellect is that of a master's degree. That blew me away when I found out about that one. A man that's married is more prone to work in a craft or a career to the point where his skills are as if he went to school and got a master's degree to do what he's doing, whether it's in sales, whether you be at the plant, whether it be a truck driver. Your abilities as a husband is completely different than a single man's. That's just stats. Even here, Andrea would work with different stores. Or I told you this before. Andrea would work with different stores around Colombia because she does corporate taxes and bookkeeping, right? Andrea would go into the office and see the husband and been working with them and never met the wife. This happened a few times. Never met the wife. And suddenly the wife comes in. Who is this young, beautiful young lady here? Oh, this is our accountant, Andrea. She's been doing our company books for years. The wives will automatically call the firm. I don't want her as our company accountant anymore. Fast forward. Andrea goes into another business. She's doing the bookkeeping. The wife who never met Andrea would be there and say, who is this young, sexy woman right here? Why, that's Mrs. Spence. She's our bookkeeper. Do you know her husband is American? Whole demeanors of the wives switch. Whole demeanor of the wives completely switch. Andrea was the same person doing the same thing for the same companies, but because she's married, the wives, and this is the funny part, Andrea will have more dirt on the husbands because she the bookkeeper. So Andrea know exactly where the money going and where it ain't supposed to be going. So why the wives are being mad at her for being young and single, Andrea looking at the books like, looking at the husband. Is your wife really tripping on me? But once she got married, how they saw her was different. So it's the same thing around the world for men and women. I'm not saying run out and get married, but I am saying that somebody is trying to keep us single on purpose and follow the money. Somebody is getting paid off of all this bitterness. I'm sitting back, I'm watching. I can't figure it all out. It may be a group as far as the corporations are getting paid off of us being single, but somebody is getting paid in a major way. And I believe personally that AI is going to be, there are going to be so many AI companions and robotic companions in the next 50 years. They're trying to get us comfortable with not liking each other now so we can sit back and say, that's why I got a robotic girlfriend. I don't even need you. I don't need a woman. I can give me a flashlight and I'm good. I can jerk off with a flashlight and I'm good. Women thinking all I got to do is get a butterfly or dildo and they good. All I got to do is give me a vibrator and I'm good. That's what women are thinking right now. We are pushing each other away from male and female companionship. And I'm telling you, it's a setup. We are being brainwashed. And once again, it's not a coincidence that the #1 YouTube channels now are all the ones that are criticizing men and criticizing women. That's not a coincidence. But all the ones that have to do with relationships or business or building a family or buying a house or investing in crypto, those are not the #1 YouTube channels and YouTube videos. I'm just saying, man, it's I don't think it's coincidence. He said, no, I wouldn't put my mental health on the line for a traditional man in America. So I wouldn't put my mental health on the line to be a traditional man in America. I can understand that for real, brother. My man Don says facts. Montrez also says, he says also expensive to have kids in America. Man, dude, $300,000 per child to the age of 18. 300,000, dude. I remember it was 280. Y'all at 300,000 per child. Whoa. Here's to you, gentlemen. I'll enjoy my beer for you guys. He said it's expensive being a single man in America, Dre. You are correct. Bobby says facts, and CT says, they said, what up, Dre? Shout out to you, brother, for being here. Appreciate you guys being here. Yeah, 300. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Let's look it up. Let's look it up. Yep. The average cost to raise a child in America. Goodness gracious. Here we go. It is $23,000 a year. This came out in 2000. Let me pull us up on the screen real quick for us. 23,000 from 11 to $23,000 a year to raise a child in the United States. God dang. Whew. As soon as she say she pregnant, she want to keep the baby. That's $23,000 a year. Man, listen. Let me share the screen. Goodness gracious. Let me move Bobby out the way for a second. Let's move this out the way. It says the cost of raising a child by state in the United States per year. This is per year. This came out 2024, December 21st, 2024. So this ain't nothing new, gentlemen. This is nothing new. Let me push myself out the way. Let you guys see this one. Blow that out, push that out the way. And let me see if I can blow this up just a little bit more for us, gentlemen. Nope, that's as large as it'll let me go. Okay, there we go. Just a little bit more. Okay, here we go. The cost of raising a child in the United States, this is per month on average. In the state of Washington, per year. I'm sorry, per year. This is per year. I said per month, but per year. Per year, it is $28,000 per child. Per year. Let me make sure of this too, because I don't want to make a mistake. Let me make sure the cost of the map is around. So although the cost varies from family to family, two working parents on average around $23,000 per year to raise one child. $23,000 a year on average in the United States to raise one shorty. Let's go per state. In the state of Massachusetts, $36,000 a year. In the state of Florida, it's $21,000. You New York boys, you paying $30,000 a year per shorty. Let me go here to my man Victory. Ohio players, roller coaster, $23K in Michigan. You Midwest boys, Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, Nebraska, all you Midwest boys, stand up. $23,000 a year. Texas, $21K. $29,000 a year to raise a shorty in California? Dang. Even in Montana, you're paying $21 a year. Whew. Are y'all sure y'all trying to have babies in the States? Man, if y'all don't get y'all a condom, goodness gracious. The lowest one I see so far is Arkansas, which is 17, Louisiana, which is 18. The lowest one is Mississippi at 16,000 per year. Then you got Alabama at 19 and Kentucky at 19. Those are the lowest ones, including Kansas. But all over here, Delaware, Maryland, all the DMV, 27, 33 for Connecticut. Dang. Maine is 29. Let's see Hawaii. Hawaii is 35 and Alaska is 27 per year for a child. Y'all know I'm about to drop this link. Oh, y'all know I like to share the facts. Let's share the facts. Goodness gracious, gentlemen. Y'all paying the piper to have kids. Paying the piper. Illinois is 24. You paying $24,000 illy. 30,000 in Colorado. What they got in Colorado to be raising a kid for that much? Wyoming is 21. Utah, I can see that. Colorado is more expensive than New Mexico and in AZ. Wow. Virginia is only 20. West Virginia is only 20, but Virginia is 24. The Carolinas are in the 20s. A year, gentlemen, a year, baby daddies. All you baby daddies, stand up. A year. Man, y'all better go on monk mode in the States and don't be, y'all might as well go and stop playing, be on monk mode in the States. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Woo. This is the calculator to compare the cost of living of households with two working adults, one child, just one child, to those of childless households with two working parents. Childless household with two working adults. So they include food, housing, childcare, health care, the child's transportation, and other necessities, Nintendos, and all the other things that a child wants or needs. The lowest, of course, was Mississippi at $16,000. Goodness gracious, gentlemen. Yeah, it's hard to be a traditional man in the States if you're trying to go back and you pay all the bills and you know that $23,000 a month is average in your state. It's hard to be traditional, Greg. He said, the only way to win is to not play the game. That's true. That's true. You say monk mode is definitely what I'm on. Yeah, man. Do not, if you know for real, I'm not joking for a minute, but for real, if you know that you leave in the United States or Canada in the next few years, man, don't get nobody pregnant. Bruh, I don't care how sexy he is, man. Bruh, you need to get your condom collection. Man, you should collect condoms like you collecting comic books or Pokemon. I'm serious, man. I'm serious. All you dudes that sincerely plan on leaving the United States in the next 5 or 10, 15 years, and you already got kids, don't be getting nobody else pregnant. Let them women alone. Let them raise the kids that you already got. Do not be getting nobody else pregnant, bruh. If you sincere, and I mean it, if you sincerely have told yourself, I am leaving the United States. Once I get done with this job, I got 5 years left on my job, or I'm in the military, and I got 5 more years left in the military. Bruh, do not be getting them chicks in the States pregnant. You're going to be mad in the mud. You're going to be watching everybody else doing their exodus. Every other dude leave the United States, happy as can be in other countries, and you're going to be mad at yourself. You know why? Because you're a good man, and good men stick around for their kids. I'll say that again. That's going to be your biggest problem. Not the woman, not the kids, but because you are a good man, and good men stick around for their kids. So here your stick around ass sticking around because you didn't know how to put on a condom or be on monk mode. Or if you're going to be freaky with it, at least be with somebody that's older that can't have no shorties. If you just can't keep the condom on, be with somebody that's like 40, 42, 43, 48. Serious, man. Get you an older girl. You 30, get you one that's like 49. Ain't no way in heck y'all supposed to be getting women in the United States pregnant, man. Y'all crazy. With a passport? All your little passport money gonna be gone. He said, I had my 4 kids. He said, in Connecticut, too. He said, I had my 4 kids. He's talking to CT. He said, I had my 4 kids. I thought he said Connecticut, but he meant CT. Had my 4 kids with ex-wives. Whew. Plural. Now you got T-Mac hanging out with the rest of us, even though he's back in LA hanging out with the rest of us. He said Colombian dudes barely pay anything. He said, but if you provided for a child about one salary, it's about $3,500 a year. But most people pay less than that when it comes to to child support or supporting their children. Then you got Theo popping up. We're gonna have Theo on the show next Friday, guys. talking about cloud engineering, talking about cybersecurity, talking about IT opportunities that are coming up, especially since President Trump has been elected. There are some doors that have opened up that you guys really want to take advantage of if you're looking to try to be that six-figure brother that's making money online. You're trying to get out the United States, you don't know which way to go. Be here next Friday. We're gonna have some testimonies from some of his graduates. I'm telling you, brother, it's gonna be a stone cold blast. So next Friday, guys, you gotta be here, man. You gotta be here. And plus, guys are signing up in Theo's class in a record number, bro. Guys are signing up like crazy. So you better take advantage of it while you can. He said, I have one grandchild. Shout out to the grandkids. Shout out to the grandkids. Oh, yeah. But yeah, definitely next Friday is going to be that one. He said Colombian kids eat. Get this pulled up for T-Mac. Colombian kids eat solid food early because formula is too expensive. Yeah. Formula in Colombia is expensive. Ma'am. Probably about 5-10 more minutes. We got the YouTube police just walked over here. Policing. And she said she don't care. He said one is Colombian toddler. Shout out to the shorties. Shout out to the shorties. All right, let me wrap this up, man. I'll be seeing you guys mañana with another live stream. Shout out to you guys. But now we got a chance to see that, you know, there's a reason behind pay for play for just other than just the pleasure of it. But these women do see that they help out a lot of guys when it comes to pay for play. And I'm talking about like the one lady told a story of the guy that lost his wife and all he wanted was companionship after losing his wife. You know, so there's a reason behind pay for play existing. But let's get started with the outros. There we go. Well, it should be. Let's go here.
escape from this world. Running on a hamster wheel, but searching for something I can't feel. I just wanna be a lost girl and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings spread, levitate above the ground and make eye contact with clouds. Now I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. I wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. Finally, I always daydreaming, never imagined I lose my spark. Living in this crazy time, putting back the pieces of my mind. I know how to run